So welcome to the Annesville playing field once again for this, the second game between Australia women and the West Indies women. Australia winning the toss and batting. There are two changes to the team. In comes Nicola Carey and Darcy Brown. And West Indies on change. Umpires for this game is Lauren Arengbag, Ajen Bag and Maria Abbott. So the bowling will start from the northern end. And it's going to be Vol who will take strike. As Dottin now begins to move in, goes past Abbott and bowls. And she's driving out to extra cover, picks up there by Ramnarak. And there is no run. That was pitched up. And she was driving out to extra cover rather crisply. But there is no run. And so, decent crowd in for the start. And I'm certain that it will grow by the end of the game. Or before. Here comes Dottin. In and bowls. Short. And she pulls to mid-wicket. This would go into defense for 4. Short. And Vol just picked it up and dispatched it through mid-wicket and down to the boundary for 4. Australia off and running. Therefore, without loss, Stanley.
Yes, good evening to you, Charlo. Good evening, good night to listeners to NBC Radio and whoever else across the region is carrying this broadcast. It's the second T20 between West Indies and Australia. But certainly it was back of a length, nice bounce, and Vol pivoted on the back foot and just swatted it to the mid-wicket boundary for 4. Easy boundary for her.
Dottin once more, in and bowls as he's driving between extra cover and mid-off. Lovely shot. Back-to-back boundaries. That was a shot of class. Pure timing and placement. And she picked up another boundary. The total rushes on to 8. And early pressure on Dottin there, Stanley.
Yes, early pressure. And the thing about it, we're not seeing this tentative movement as we saw on Thursday night. They have started with a bang, Vol, with a pull shot from the previous delivery, and this was a beautiful extra cover drive, back-to-back boundaries. Let's see what Dottin will do to try and come back in this over.
So there is a short third man, backward point, square cover, extra cover, mid-off, all inside the 30-yard circle, mid-on, mid-wicket, a deep mid-wicket and a long leg. Dottin once more in, bowls to Vol, who is pulling that out through square leg. This could run close to the fence, but the mid-wicket comes around. They will come back for the second. The return comes in. And they will get that easily. And the total goes on to 10. It was short. And a bit slower. She had to wait on it. And swat it out to square leg. And picked up 2. So she's on to 10. The total 10 without loss. We're in over number 1. Here at Annesville. And lovely conditions for cricket. So Dottin turns at the far end, the northern end, with the administrative centre behind her. As she comes in once more, bowls to Vol. Vol is working that out to mid-on. And they go through very quickly for a single. And they get that easily. Total goes on to 11. 11 without loss. We're still in over number 1. I think 1 legal delivery remaining in this over.
But Charlie, the way she is, the indication we're seeing from these 5 deliveries, she seems as if she was batting there from Thursday night.
Well, she looks like someone who means business. And we can see umpire Abbott now walking across to Captain Haley Matthews. Not sure what it is. There's a signal to the ground staff, I think. So play held up momentarily, and I think just around that area where they are standing, Stanley, I think there is the pipe.
There's a pipe around there.
That's used, so not sure if there's any leakage.
Or probably they did not cover it.
Or probably it's not properly covered.
I think it's a question of having some cover over the top of that area. I think that's what happened, but apparently the ground staff hasn't picked up what they're asking of them.
Well, we can see a little bit of movement out next to the scoreboard. And they're still waiting, so you're not missing any play whatsoever. There are some 5 deliveries so far in the over, and Australia, there are 11 without loss.
Charlie, the teams, West Indies, Haley Matthews, Kiana Joseph, Sherman Campbell, Stephanie Taylor, Deandra Dutton, Chanel Henry, Jazara Claxton, Janelia Glasgow, Alia Aline, Afi Fletcher, and Karishma Ramhara. We're still waiting on some response from the ground staff in relation to what may have transpired out there. And the Australian team, Beth Mooney, Georgia Val, Phoebe Litchfield, Elsie Perry, Georgia Wayham, Talia McGrath, Nicola Carey, Sophie Molyneux, the captain, Alana King, Kim Garth, and Darcy Brown. Australia won the toss and they have elected to bat as the ground staff is going out there.
Well, we can see the head groundsman in William Bill Edwards just approaching that area.
Whatever I suspect is that it needed covering in relation to the spouting that they normally have.
Yes, so I think perhaps it was not properly turned off.
I think it's that something.
And
like that.
so there's some base sand added to the area. And so I'm sure that very soon we will have the restart of this encounter. Australia winning the first game by some 43 runs. And a rather comfortable victory indeed by Australia.
But Charlie, the way they have started, it gives, if that is an indication of things to come, they may be looking at a bigger total tonight.
Well,
the way they've started.
Australia would, West Indies would have some other ideas. They would have some work to do. And William Biddle is ensuring that all is well.
Seems as if that is the problem. That area the pipe. But you're not missing any cricket. 11 outlaws, 5 deliveries. As we still await the groundsman there in Bill Edwards to effect the necessary repairs so that play will resume. But certainly, Charlie, the crowd tonight is much bigger than at the same stage Thursday night.
By far.
If you look at the Frank Thomas, there was no one in the Frank Thomas at the start. And we can easily say maybe about 40 over there.
So too was the double-decker?
Yes.
So I think all is well. I think the fielders, everyone now getting back to their respective positions.
Bill need to do a sprint.
So he also do. He's jogging, and
so all is well, and we'll resume in about 5 seconds as they just exiting the boundary.
So
play resume.
Yes. So left-handed Mooney comes into strike. She will take the first delivery, taking guard from umpire Abbott. So there is a slip. There's a short third man, backward point, sweep on the boundary. Extra cover mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a deep backward square leg. So Dottin looks to bowl to Mooney. Mooney, who had a very good innings in the first T20, got 79 in and bowls, and she's up on playing it out to extra cover. A loud shout of no from her partner Vol. And so the over comes to an end at the end of over number 1, 11 without loss standing.
Yes, positive start by the Australian openers in Val. She's gotten all 11, 2 boundaries certainly. The second one is a peach of our extra cover drive. No one really moved. And as I said, if that is the mood that we are seeing in this first over, nice dry pitch. And we are hoping that we will see a much better showing by the West Indies, barring Joseph says 43? 45 on Thursday night. The others really left a lot to be desired. So we're just hoping that from a West Indian standpoint, they will try to limit the Australians and hope they'll be able to get that runs and level the series 1-1.
So Chanel Henry will pick it up from the southern end with the media center behind her. There's some adjustments to the field. There's a slip. Third man on the boundary, backward point, square cover, extra cover, mid-off. Mid-on, mid-wicket, and a deep backward square leg. As Henry goes past umpire Ajahn Baggy, he drives straight back to the bowler, who knocks it down. Doesn't feel cleanly, but there is no run. And so Precious Dot goes into the scorebook. And The lights have taken full effect here at Arnesville. Henry makes her way back, turns just in front of us, goes past the umpire now, in and bowls and volleys defensively forward, plays it out to mid-on. Janila Glasgow covering some grounds, and there is no run. So good start by Henry.
I was about to make the point that I had an overseas call Friday in relation to to find out if Ali Ali is injured because she did not bowl a ball.
Well, the captain is in charge as Henry goes past umpire now, bowls in, and again she's defensively forward, plays it back to the bowler. So a good start by Henry. 3 deliveries, 3 dots. Total remains on 11. And we can see Mooney walking down to have a word with her partner. And certainly they want to lay the foundation for a good total. And Henry goes away from us. In and bowls. He's driving and knocked down there by Henry, but couldn't stop it. They go through for 1. They're coming back for the second. That one off her left hand goes down to deep extra cover. She picked up 2. She goes on to 13. The total 13 without loss.
Quiet over thus far. Just 2 from the over from that off drive, and she's ringing her left hand. She's tried to stop it, but it bounced away from her, and they got 2 runs. But certainly, Vol is giving the impression that she is going to attack.
So here is Henry once more, in and bowls. And she goes back, beautifully played between the backward point and square cover. And this would go into the fence for 4. That was a shot with pure timing. And you do get value for your shots here at Arnesville. And that raced across the outfield. Into the fence it goes for 4. The total goes on to 17. Volley herself is on 17. And Chanel Henry would want to make amends.
She need to pull back that length because she was thereabout, and she went a bit fuller. And Vol capitalized on it and punched it through the offside for a beautiful off drives.
So here is Henry once more to bowl to Vol. In, short, and she's pulling out to square leg. This would beat the square leg into the fence. It goes 4 more. So back-to-back boundary. She's a woman on a mission here, and certainly means business. The total goes on to 21. Some 10 runs coming in that over, Stanley. And really, Vol is signaling her intention.
Yes, her intentions has been made clear to everyone here at Arnesville, whereby the moment she went offline, she's capitalizing on it and hitting the boundaries. There's no 1, there's no 2. What we saw on Thursday night was a much sedate start. Tonight we're seeing the aggressive Vol taking the attack very early to the West Indies, bearing in mind the power play. You get a lot of runs in the power play, and she's capitalizing. So anything offline, she definitely has given the impression she is on the attack.
So there's a change in bowling at the northern end. Claxton comes into the attack, and she will bowl from the northern end with the media center behind her. And there's Claxton. There is a third man, a deep backward point on the boundary, a sweeper on the boundary, and mid-off. There's no extra cover. And there is a short fine leg, backward square leg, forward square leg, mid-wicket, and a mid-on. So acres of space between the short third man and mid-off, Stanley.
Yes.
In fact, it's the left-hander. So it's short, fine leg, deep backward square, deep mid-wicket. Those are the 2 outside the circle. As she comes round the wicket now to bowl to Mooney. Mooney's driving off the outside edge down to the boundary for 4. She's off the mark. Not in the way she wanted, but the boundaries, the runs are coming. And the total goes on to 25.
The runs are really raining here down as in very early stages. Looking to drive outside the off and take the outer portion of the bat and flew past third man. And certainly they are off like a train. And West Indies have to be very careful in relation to the speed at which they're going. They're just 25.
2.1 overs.
My goodness.
So here is Claxton once more to Mooney. Mooney's looking to dab at that. And under the bat it goes and into the gloves of Shamin Campbell. And there is no run. The total remains on 25 without loss. Mooney is on 4. Voller is on 21. And we have seen some discipline from the West Indies so far. They have not conceded an extra.
That is very good, because the previous game on Thursday night there were quite a number of extras, mainly culprit being DeAndre Dutton.
And a good delivery there by Claxton, and Mooney was in defense. Plays it back to Claxton, who feels well, picks up, tosses it to Glasgow, who polishes away on her trousers, trying to keep the shine. And Claxton makes her way back, turns just in front of the logo at the far end, and begins to moto in, goes past umpire Abbott, in and bowls, and she's down the track, driving out to mid-off. They go through for a single, and it's bubbled there by the mid-off fielder. It looks like Henry, and there goes, get a single rather comfortably. With that, Mooney goes on to 5. The total goes on to 26.
The moment she struck that delivery, she was off the mark quickly. So there was no ifs and buts. She just moved very, very quickly. You know, there are some players who tend to stroke the ball and then they wait to see what will happen. She was off immediately. So the single was always on, despite the fielder bubbled a bit, but it was on.
So the right-handed Vol comes in to strike. And she has a third man, backward point, square cover, extra cover, mid-off. On the offside, inside the surplus. Here is Claxton. Into bowl to Vol. And Vol is swinging at that. Down to the boundary it goes. Getting the full bat on it. I think there was an edge on that. Down to the fine leg. Rather straight for another boundary. So she's racing along to 25. The total goes on to 30. And without loss. And
the boundaries are raining.
Certainly, she's scoring in boundaries. 30 without loss. And here is his, and she's forward defensively, plays it out to extra cover, and there is no run. So good comeback delivery there from Claxton. Total on to 30.
It may be wise, Charlo, for Haley to try and bring in Ramarak and try and quell this run rate, because they seemingly are at home with the faster bowlers. So try something and maybe bring in a spinner in and see if you can check it.
So the over comes to an end. There's some 9 runs coming off that over, Stanley. So at the end of over number 3, it's 30 without loss, going at 10 runs and over.
Yes, you know, that is 10 and over. It's a healthy start. I think they will have their target set. I would say probably they're looking for about 60 in the power play. I rather suspect that. The way Val is going.
So it's going to be Henry to continue from the southern end. And she will be bowling to the left-handed Bet Mooney. Mooney coming off 79 of, I think, 55 deliveries in the first T20. So she's in good nick and would want to build on that. As Henry goes past Ajahn Bag in, and she's going down the leg side at wide. First wider conceded by the West Indies. The total goes on to 31.
Maybe I spoke too quickly.
Well, maybe umpire's curse.
Call that commentator's curse.
Commentator's curse, yes. Chanel Henry turns in front of us, begins to move in, goes past the umpire now and bowls to Mooney. Mooney is looking to swing that, taking on the body. It bubbled out on the offside, and there's about 3 fielders converging, and there is no run. The total remains 31 without loss, and we are in over number 4.
Hello, there's a young lady playing for, I'm trying to get the information here, a Ugandan by the name of Fanny Utogushmarinid. She, a 15-year-old. I'll get to that after this delivery.
So here comes Chanel Henry in and bowls to Mooney. Mooney is driving nicely out to mid-off and she's off quickly for a single. Return comes in, misses the stump. And in the end, getting that rather comfortably. It's 32 without loss. Mooney goes on to 6. And Vol, who has been the chief run scorer on 25, comes back into strike.
Yeah, the young lady, 15-year-old Utamangani, she got 111 of 65 balls. He's 15 years of age. The youngest person to hit a century in T20.
So here is Henry into bowl to Vol. Vol is forward, plays it out to extra cover. Captain Haley Matthews is there. There's no run.
15 years, 223 days. The first person as a debutant to make a century.
A debutant.
Yeah, playing for Rwanda against Nigeria.
So, that's something to take note of.
Yep.
So it's 32 without loss as Chanel Henry goes past the umpire now and bowls to Vol. Vol again is in defense. Plays it out to extra cover. Ramnarak is there. There is no run. So a good over so far from Henry. Just 2 runs off that over so far.
Yeah, it's a question of consistent length is very important because I thought the ball well that Thursday night in the first period of that game.
So here is Henry once more in and bowls, and Val is looking to what do you call that? A scoop?
Scoop. They'll scoop.
Missed it and taken cleanly by Campbell behind the stump. Another dot goes into the scorebook and Mooney goes down to have a word with her.
You remember Dilshan, Sri Lankan, who
popularized that shot, referred to as the Dill Scoop.
The Dill Scoop. They have the reverse sweep. They have all sort of descriptions today in cricket.
To switch it.
All type.
So here comes Henry. She wants to finish strong. In and bowls. And this time he's edging that past the keeper. I think she got a hand to it, but they'll get a single in the process. A good delivery, leaving the right-hander. And a diving effort there by Campbell. That was going away from her. And at the end of over number 4, it's 33 without loss. And Vol could come to herself very lucky there, Stanley.
Very lucky, as far as he's concerned. Took the outer edge. Fell just to the right there of the wicketkeeper, and she got away with it. And that's how the cookie crumbles at times. Sometimes when you're looking for that little bit of extra luck, is not there with you. But certainly it was a very good over from Chanel Henry and sort of pulled back the scoring rate from that 10 and over. Now they're down now to 8 as a result of that pretty good over for 3, which included a wide.
So Claxton has been pulled out of the attack, and we see Captain Haley Matthews comes into the attack, and she'll bowl her right arm off spin. And let's see her field placing. So there is no third man. There's a backward point. There is a square cover, extra cover, mid-off. That's the fielders on the offside. There's a mid-on, mid-wicket, a deep mid-wicket on the boundary, deep backward square leg, and a short fine leg. Matthews in and bowls. Valls is sweeping. Square leg comes off the boundary and picks up, fires it in. Looks at Happy Fletcher and not taken cleanly there, and an overthrow results. And so good game awareness by Australia, and Campbell not reining that in and bubbled off her hand, and Voller very quickly called Mooney through for a second. So 2 runs there to Vol. She goes on to 28, the total on to 35 without loss, as Matthews once more in, and this time she's working it out to mid-wicket, and they go through for 1. That's all they would be, and the total goes on to 36. 36 for none, and the left-handed Bet Mooney comes into strike. She's on 6, and Vol, who is on 29, as the non-strikers end.
When one looks at what transpired Thursday night, that would have never happened to the Australians because so many of the players tend to get around the wicket where the return is, because they feel in the West Indies that person they will identify them in a while was way down on halfway down to the
That's
boundary.
Matthews in, and Mooney is driving out to extra cover, and there is no run.
But you call it correctly, game awareness, because Janina Glasgow should have been looking to back up the wicketkeeper. Once the ball passed her, they would never got that second run.
So here is Matthews, wrong the wicket, in and bowls, and there's Mooney giving herself room, and he's driving out to square cover. There's no run, and the crowd getting involved, appreciating the fielding, and Matthews makes her way back. Number 50 on the back of her shirt comes in now, goes past umpire Abbott, in and bowls, and she's swinging out to square leg. A long run there for the deep mid wicket. Can she get around? And she does not. It goes across the ropes for 4. So that was a one that was pulled down short, and Mooney said thank you very much, swung it out to deep backward square, picked up a boundary. The total goes on to 40 without loss. We are in over number 5.
She definitely lost her line there. She had bowled a couple of deliveries right on target, unable to score. But then she pulled one down, and it was easily carted to the square leg boundary as the Australians continue to score in boundaries.
So here is Matthews in, bowls to Mooney. Mooney works it out to mid wicket. They hustle for 1. He wants a second. It's not there. That would have been suicidal. So over number 5 comes to an end, and at the end of over number 5, it's 41 without loss.
Yes, 41 without loss as they continue to build this opening partnership. And this is a very, very good start by the Australians, bearing in mind they still have 1 over left in the power play. Maybe another 6-7 runs would put them up to about 46, 47. I thought at the rate they were going at the start, I thought they were looking for about 60, 50, 60. But that very good over from Chanel Henry pulled them back, and this over from Matthews went for 8. So that 1 over made a big difference in terms of the strike rate.
So there's going to be a change in bowling here at the northern end. The southern end, Ramnarak comes in for Chanel Henry.
That makes a lot of sense to me, as I was calling for it a bit earlier, to change things up a little bit and move away from the seamers. Try to effect a wicket. West Indies definitely need a wicket.
So it's Ramnarak to bowl to the left-handed Bet Mooney. And here she's first delivery in and bowls. Mooney giving herself room and punches it to extra cover. Long run here for Hayley Matthews. They're gone for 1. They're coming back for the second. They're looking for a third. It is not there. The return comes in. And so 2 runs to Mooney. She goes on to 13. And Vol at the non-strikers end, she's on 29. So 43 without loss. Ramnarak in and bowls, and Mooney's forward. Defensively edges down to third man, wants a single. It's the big Kiana Joseph there, and Vol is very aware of that and hustled through and get it, taking a single. And total goes on to 44.
She's easily the slowest of the fielders on both teams, so they have judged it properly. Game awareness, she's slow. We can get a single before that throw comes in. She's really heavy.
So Ramnarak would now bowl to the right-handed Vol, and she decides to go over the wicket to the right-hander. So you see, long on comes into a mid-on. As here is Ramnarak in and bowls, and Vol is swinging that high and hard against the breeze. That clear defense for 6. He picked it up from just outside the off stump with the turn and swung it over deep mid wicket, clearing the boundary against the wind, and picked up the first 6 of the innings. The total goes on to 51.
50 or 51?
50. So the 50 coming up in
the power play.
Inside the power play, he goes back looking to flash that, misses, taken cleanly in and It's still 50. The 50 coming in
50.
5.3 overs. Vol, she goes on to 35. Mooney is on 14 at the non-strikers, and Ramnarak wrong the wicket, in and bowls. She's down the track, drives, lovely shot over the bowler's head and down to the boundary for 4. And this is really taking it to the bowlers now. She goes on to 39, and the total rushes on to 54.
This is really a powerful innings. Hit the ball all around the field here. Flighty delivery, straight as an arrow. And West Indies do need to get her out. If West Indies fail to get out, we might be in for another century here tonight. Follow up on what the Ugandan did, because she's really motoring. They need to get her out.
So Ramnarak in and bowls to Vol. Vol is driving out to mid-off, takes the catch, Janila Glasgow, and you have called for it. It was tossed up, she went for the drive, lofted it for Janila Glasgow, who dived forward and took the catch, and Vol has to make her way back. And just at the end of the 6th over, at 54, Australia have lost their first wicket. Vol goes, caught Janila Glasgow, bowled Karishma Ramnarak for 39.
Yes, just was making the comment, they desperately need to get a wicket. The very next delivery, she struck it powerfully to the diving forwards, Janila Glasgow, and she held a very, very good catch. A superb effort, because she had to dive forward. And the breakthrough has come for the West Indies, a much needed breakthrough, because Vol was really motoring here at Arnold'sville. As it's the end of the power play. It's now 54 for 1.
54 for 1.
54 for 1. The over cost 13. But the key in it is that they did dismissal of Vol, and she got 39.
So there is a changing bowling at the northern end. Matthews comes off, and Affy Fletcher comes into the attack. So Fletcher will bowl to Mooney. So Mooney has a backward point, a square cover, a sweeper, mid-off, a long on, mid-wicket, a deep mid-wicket on the boundary, the deep backward square, and a short fine leg. So Litchfield comes out to do battle with Mooney. She's at the non-strikers end yet to face a delivery. And it's Mooney who is on 14. And she would face to Affy Fletcher, who had a pretty good game.
Yes,
in the first
she got
T20.
No wicket for 28 in her spell of 4 overs.
So here comes Fletcher in and bowls to Mooney. Mooney sweeping out to square leg. Taylor comes off the boundary, keeps it down to a single. The total goes on to 55. So 55 for 1 at the start of over number 7. And Litchfield, who is also a left-hander, so left-hander joining a left-hander. So it makes life a little easier for the bowlers, Stanley.
Yes, definitely easier, but what we see internationally, there's always a left-hand, right-hand combination.
And the crowd growing steadily. As here is Affy Fletcher in and bowls to Litchfield. Litchfield is working out how to long on. She's off the mark immediately. The total goes on to 56. 56 for 1, so she's on 1. Mooney, who is on 15, comes back into strike. There's no change in the field. Fletcher in, bowls to Mooney. Mooney down the track and swings it out to long on. Has some work to do, comes to a left field well, fires it in at the keeper's end. Good work, a good powerful throw there from Janila Glasgow.
And Strado, she's strange enough. She's moving from long on to long on.
She has done the hard work, and we saw that in the first T20. So a single to Mooney, who takes her to 16. Litchfield, who is on 1, takes strike down the leg side. She's swinging at that wide signal by the umpire. The total goes on to 58. So Litchfield looks around. Affy Fletcher just losing her line there a bit as she comes back. In and bowls. Litchfield down, driving out to extra cover. Sweeper comes off the boundary. They'll get a single. The total goes on to 59 for 1. And with that single, she goes on to 2. And Mooney, who is on 16, comes back into strike. And a pretty tidy over thus far by Fletcher.
Haven't seen a boundary yet. The rate at which they're going.
She would want to keep things tight. Fletcher in, bowls to Mooney. Mooney drives back to the bowler. Well bowled by Fletcher. And there is no run. Total remains 59 for 1. And the crowd from our outside effects microphone, they are into the game. Series Fletcher once more in and bowls, and Mooney looking to work that. And there's comes down to short, fine leg. Another dot goes into the scorebook. A very good over indeed by Afi Fletcher. Just 5 runs off that over, Stanley. And she would be happy.
Yes, she definitely should be happy. Just 5 in the over, including a wide. So it's a pretty good over. And as the slower bowlers are on now, we are seeing the scoring rate being checked somewhat. But the thing about it, the Australians are in a much better position at this point in time in relation to what happened on Thursday night. They are at the end of 7 overs on Thursday night. They were only 39. So they are 20 behind in relation to what happened on Thursday night. But that has come about as a result of the aggression shown by Val.
Well, Kaylee Matthews ringing the changes. There's a change at the southern end. She comes back into the attack. She will be bowling to Litchfield. And she skips past umpire now and bowls. And she's sweeping at that off the back of the bat. They go through for 1. It's Kiana Joseph there, not feeling well. And another overthrow. Haley Matthews is not happy. And rightly so. And so 2 runs, what really should have been 1. Ended up to be 2. The total goes on to 61 for 1. We're in over number 8.
I think it's good thinking on the part of Haley Matthews. She being the off spinner against 2 left-handers. I think it's a good move.
So here is Matthews in and bowls. Litchfield gives herself some room down the left side. Drive beautifully between square cover and backward point and down to the boundary for 4. Gave herself some room and freed her arms, and a flowing square drive down to the boundary for 4. The total goes on to 65 for 1. And Litchfield wants to continue what Vol started.
Definitely.
So here is Matthews once more in and bowl. She gives herself some room, and Matthews looking to tie her because I'm close to her. She swung it out to mid-wicket and gets a single. So she goes on to 9.
Charlo, I believe if she can bowl it a bit flatter outside the off stump with the 2 left-handers, they'll have to try and reach and punch her towards the sweeper. But she's bowling the ball inside of the pads area, and they're able to bat it away quite comfortably. But I do believe she can flight it just outside the off stump.
So she decides to come round the wicket to bowl to Mooney in. And Mooney is forward, guides it out to backward point. They scamper through for 1, and they will get that quickly. So good backing up by the non-striker. And Mooney with that single goes on to 17. And Litchfield, who is on 9, comes into strike. The total now on to 67. 67 for 1. We are in over number 8. So still going above 8 runs and over. 8.74 runs and over. Matthews from round the wicket to the left-handed Litchfield. Short. And she's swinging that, cutting her bottom edge. This would go into the fence. It does. And that's 4 runs. Poor delivery there by Matthews. And 4 runs result. And it's now 71 for 1. And we're in over number 8.
She seemed to have lost her head there because she pulled it down towards the leg stump, and she got an inside edge, yes, but it's gone to the boundary for 4. She should be bowling towards that outside off stump with the 5 fielders on this offside.
So just sweeping at that outside the leg stump. Wants a single. It's not there. There's a loud shout for LBW. Not out, says the umpire. So end of over number 8. It's 71 for 1. And Saley Matthews now 2 overs, none for 20.
Yes, that over cost 12 runs. 12 runs in that over. they sort of negate what Afi Fletcher did when she only allowed 5. So Welch says it was a good move to have the off spin on. She needs to be consistently bowling on outside the off stump with a pack offside field, maybe 4 in the inner ring and just to sweep her out. But she seemingly losing her line a bit, maybe losing her head. And they went for 12. 12 is a big over.
So Fletcher will continue. In and bowls to Mooney. Mooney gives herself some room, drives out to mid-off, and there is no run. So the total remains on 71. 71 for 1. And Fletcher once more into... She's bowling. Mooney was using her feet and giving herself some room. Missed it, had a wild swing at it, and losing her middle stump in the process. And it's now 72 for 2. Afi Fletcher strikes.
Yeah, Afi Fletcher taking her first wicket in this series here. Seeing Mooney charging her, she fired it in a bit, she missed, and her timber, there was some noise at the back of the timber being struck. West Indies striking through Fletcher, 71, 72 now for the loss of 2. And certainly a good wicket, bearing in mind Mooney got a top score of 79 in the first game. A good wicket indeed, a prize wicket as far as the West Indies is concerned. But the thing about the Australians, they do bat deep. So it's a question of how the others are going to perform. But certainly a good wicket for the West Indies.
So Fletcher striking in over number 9. And Perry comes out to do battle.
Yes, Perry.
So the right-hander, Elise Perry.
She had a pretty good knock Thursday night, 36, and that partnership of 99 with Mooney. So she is one we know from what we saw on Thursday night has the ability to score runs, and quickly too.
So it's going to be Fletcher to bowl to Perry. In and bowls. Bad delivery, and she swings that out to deep backward square for 4. Bad delivery to get first up. She cashed in and jumped all over it and swung it out to deep backward square and down to the boundary for 4.
Losing her line. Full toss on the leg stump, and it just helped herself to a boundary and eased the pressure somewhat. Batsmen tend to want to get off the mark as quickly as possible, but she's off the mark from a juicy full toss.
75 for 2. Fletcher in, bowls to Perry. Perry is driving. The sweeper comes off the boundary. They hustle for 1. They want a second. She fumbles, but recovers rather quickly and fires it in. So keeps it down to a single. So with that, she goes on to 5. Litchfield, who is on 13, comes in to strike. And Fletcher, with some success, comes in to bowl to the left-handed Litchfield. In and bowls. Litchfield gives herself some room, drives. Fletcher got a hand on it, took some pace off it. This could be dangerous. And there's appeal for run out by, I think she just got back. Stanley?
It appears as if she just got back, but the umpire's done the correct thing. Seek the technology that's available, so we'll just await the decision from the umpire.
So the decision pending, and she was driving, wanting a single. The return came in and she had to dive to get back in. And we wait on the third umpire to do some work, while the umpires do the repairs in the middle. So it's 75 for 2. So
it's taking rather
it appears as if it's not out. So the signal now by umpire Agent Bag, not out, and play will continue. So Fletcher will continue to bowl to Litchfield. It's 75 for 2. Litchfield, she's on 13. Fletcher in, and this time she's pulling out to mid-wicket. This would go into defense for 4. Oh, good diving effort, and really you have to credit that fielder on the boundary. And It really looked as if it was going across the ropes for 4. She dived and knocked it down. The over comes to an end. At the end of over number 9, it's 78 for 2. Litchfield, she's on 15. Perry is on 5. And really a good piece of work on the boundary.
Yes, a very good piece of work, and Fletcher got away with that long hop that certainly should have gone over the boundary, but a tremendous effort saved 2 runs for the West Indies. But certainly in that over, it was a wicket-taking over, which is exactly what the West Indies needed, and more so to remove Mooney.
So Ramnarak will continue from this the southern end.
She's swinging around the bowlers.
And she will be bowling to Perry. So Mooney got 17. Vol 39. This was swung out to mid-wicket. A deep backward square. It's Stephanie Taylor who picks up. Fires it in on the bounce. So a single. The total goes on to 79. 79 for 2. With that single, Perry goes on to 6. And Litchfield, who is on 15, comes into strike. So there's some adjustment to the left-hander. So there's a left-hand, right-hand combination. Ramnarak just adjusting her field. A signal into the sweeper to go a bit squarer. So there's a third man, backward point sweeper, extra cover, mid-off. And she's still asking her to go a little bit squarer. There is a short fine leg, deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, and a long on. So there are acres of space from the short fine leg to long on, Stanley. Anything work into the gap can easily pick up
a boundary.
Two.
I would say a boundary if hit with some power, because as you tend to say, there's purchase. You get plenty for your shots once you find the gap.
So Ramnarak now would bowl to Litchfield. In and bowls. Litchfield goes back and plays it out to square cover. And backward point comes off the boundary. Keeps it down to a single. The total goes to 80. 80 for 2. We are in over number 10. And the right-handed Perry comes back into strike. She's on 6. Litchfield on 16. Ramnarak in and bowls. She's working it out to mid-wicket, who comes off the boundary. They hustle for 1, and they will settle for that. As Claxton comes off the boundary and fires it in on the bounce to Campbell. So the total goes on to 81. 81 for 2. And left-handed Litchfield, who is on 16, comes back into strikes. 7 to Perry. In and bowls, and she's looking for that switch hit. Gets it out to short fine leg. Kiana Joseph moving to her left. Picks up. The total goes on to 82. And Litchfield goes on to 17. Perry, who is on 7, comes back into strike. Ramnarak in and bowls. And she goes back, works it firmly back to the bowler, who feels well to her own bowling. And there is no run. So 82. Some 4 runs thus far in this over. And she would want to finish very strongly. Here she is once more in. She's down the track and lifts that high. Over extra cover and down to the boundary for 4 on the bounce. And the total now on to 86. 86 for 2 at the end of over number 10. And so at the end of over number 10, it's Australia 86 for 2. The water break is up. We'll take a break as well as we switch, and in would come Kenroy Martin and Alonso Cruikshank.
welcome back to the Arnorsville playing field here where we have the Australia women taking on the Windies women. Australia winning the toss, choosing to bat their 86 for 2 after 10 overs. Here with me in the commentary box is Kenroy Martin. Good night to you, Kenroy.
Good night to you, Alan Son. Good night to the listeners of NBC Radio and the lovers of cricket here in St. Vincent and Grenadines and through the Caribbean. Good night.
So Afi Fletcher, she will continue to Litchfield. This one is a full delivery. Is hitting it over square leg officially, but Taylor doesn't make the ground to it, so they will cross for 1 run. Litchfield does seem to be very adventurous on those cross-batted shots, so attempting the reverse sweep as well in the previous overs.
She likes to take the chances. Once the ball is loose, she takes the opportunity and really dispatch them into the fence. She's a very attacking player from what we have seen thus far.
Fletcher is in again. Down the pitch comes Perry. Doesn't time it well. And I think in the end that may be to her benefit as it doesn't carry it to the fielder. Claxton coming off the boundary. Claxton very quick over the ground. Perry, the most experienced player in this game. On either side, having played, this is her 172nd Women's T20 international game. It's a lot of games as Fletcher continues to Litchfield. She's down the ground, hitting this one over the long off area, using her feet, getting to the pitch, and playing an immaculate shot down the ground for 4.
Yeah, excellent use of the feet there, meeting the ball on the full and stroking it back over the head of Fletcher into the fence for 4. Really good timing as well, and she placed it into that gap and into the fence for 4. Lovely shot there by Perry.
Yes, as you mentioned that, that use of the feet, she's very fleet of foot is Litchfield as Fletcher comes in again. This time she's down the pitch, but the length is better. Cramps her a bit as well for room. Not able to score on that occasion. Score remains on 92 for 2 in the 11th over. Fletcher again comes into Litchfield. She's using her crease this time, not so much down the pitch but across to the leg side, hitting it down to a backward square leg where Stephanie Taylor does a feeling. They have time for 1.
What is pretty important here as well, they are taking up the singles, they're hitting the boundaries, keep the scoreboard ticking, keeping things going here for Australia. Actually 93 for 2, a pretty good start, very good in the middle of the innings.
Flighty delivery from Fletcher, punched down the ground by Perry down to long on. Janila Glasgow does the feeling, brings it over to an end after 11 overs. The Australian women, they are 94 for 2.
Yeah, a lovely platform being set here and laid here for the others to come. 94 for 2 with Lynchfield and Perry at the crease. Lynchfield had 23 from 15 and Perry, she's 13 from 8. A really good platform here for the others to come. Another 9 overs so to go, and a total of 150 plus would be challenging here for the West Indies.
Well, they did score over 100 in the last 10 overs in the last game, so it's looking quite ominous. The West Indies women would have to put up a better showing than they did in that first game in the second half of their bowling. They were very miserly in their first 10 overs on Thursday. As skipper continues now, he's bowling to Perry, pulling this one down to square leg on the bounce to the fielder there. Tidies up, it looks like Stephanie Taylor keeps it down to 1, but that was a short delivery, could have gone the distance.
Yeah, left or right of the fielder Taylor, it would have gone into the fence for 4, but it went straight to Stephanie Taylor, who got it on a bounce and really sailed a beautiful return into the wicket keeper. So the feeling from the West Indies team has been very good so far in this innings.
Matthews now to Litchfield. Again, just moving around in that crease. Gets it fine of the fielder, the deep square leg position. Comes around now, does the feeling. Return comes in. She's there safely in there, and it looks like Mandy Mangro, the substitute fielder who tidies up there on the boundary.
Yeah, excellent cricket here by these two. Running hard between the wickets, placing the ball in the gaps, calling, and really good response from each other. And really getting 2 easy runs here for the Australians.
Matthews into Litchfield again. She's down the ground, punching that one firmly, almost decapitating Elise Perry at the non-striker's end.
She was in immediate danger there, but getting out of the way, really, and that was smacked with some serious power there but only finding the fielder long off, who does the fielding and return to the bowler, Skipper Haley.
So mentioning the field, there's a deep backward square, there's a deep mid wicket, a long on and long off. Those are the players outside of the circle. As Matthews comes in again to Perry, using her feet, whipping this one to mid wicket, who should cut it off. Yes, Claxton does so, keeps them down to 1. Beautiful return. And she's an excellent fielder, is Jazara Claxton.
Yes, very, very good fielder. She is very quick on the outfield, very good arm, good catcher, really enthusiastic player she is. A very good talent for the West Indies to come for the years. Hopefully she will develop well and continue playing cricket for the West Indies.
Litchfield again making room. Intelligent response there from Matthew, just slowing that one down, not giving her any pace at all to work with.
Yes, smart bowling here by Haley. Excellent bowling. Saw her coming and just took the pace off and really beat her by the pace and the flight and into the keeper's glove. A dot delivery.
Matthews again shorter, whipping this one with the bottom hand. Litchfield to the deep mid wicket fielder Ali Aline. Alia keeps it down to a single as the return comes in. And that's the end of over number 12. It brings up the 100 as well for Australia women. So at the end of over number 12, Australia, they are 100 for 2.
Yeah, good position to be in here. The Australians 100 for 2 and another 8 wickets in the hood. Really, it tells you that they could get up to a score up to 170 plus here against the West Indies team. And really nothing much to think about when it comes to the wicket. It's a very good batting surface. The outfield is pretty good. There's not much for the spinners. We have not seen much from the spinners. The pacers have been knocked around the ground. So the West Indies would have to be very careful as to how they go about these final 8 overs or so, or they will be chasing a very big total here tonight.
Yeah, we saw from the Australia batting lineup in the previous game that, you know, all the batters who come down the order, they're quite capable and they're also very aggressive in their intent. So the defensive skills of the West Indies bowling attack will be tested in this game as Deandra Dottin comes back into the attack. She will be bowling to Litchfield. He's in now to Litchfield. This one is short down the leg side. I think this one on the onside. Thinking of 2, but Dottin keeps them down to 1. They're very quick.
Yeah, the ever-present Dottin. She's very competitive when it comes to her cricket. Really running from mid-wicket, from our delivery strive into mid-wicket and preventing an extra run. Very competitive cricketer she has been over the years for the West Indies, and she continues to do that for the West Indies. Fit cricketer as well, and really good to see her on the field doing battle against Australia in this series. Remember, this could be a serious clincher for the Australians, and this could be a game for the West Indies that will draw the series and go on to Monday. St. Vincent and Grenadines would love that. And the West Indies on a whole.
Dottin now to Perry. This one is full outside the off stump. Played back to the bowler, there's the run. And you mentioned the experience of Dottin. She's the most experienced of the players out there for the West Indies. This is our 142nd Women's T20 international game.
Yeah, that's a lot of service there to West Indies cricket. Deandra Dottin, one of the better players we have seen over the years, and she continues to play her trade here for the West Indies.
This time she's in. It's a wide delivery. The third fielder total is in place. Fifth lecture keeps it down to a single. So if that is going to be her line, then we'll assume that is the case based on the way she bowled in the previous game, conceding a few wides as well, but seemed to be looking for that wide Yorker plan. And the third man fielder is quite fine, which you would expect given that is her approach. Litchfield now on strike, the left-hander. To cramp up for room, does so successfully. Not able to pace the offside field, another dot delivery.
Yeah, what I've seen from the Australians so far in the middle period of this game is that they're looking for a lot of singles. They're not looking to hit the ball over the top. They're just looking to score, keep the scoreboard ticking. They have not seen many risks being taken from these 2 batters. And I'm still wondering why with a start like of 102 for 2. This is the middle period.
She's looking to whip this one off the pads. Wait for the signal from umpire, but leg by signal, yes. So 1 leg by added to the total. Yeah, I think the role is that based on what they have been doing out there so far, is that Perry seems to be the one who will be taking the bigger risks. And the more powerful of the two batters at the crease. Goes over the top, doesn't find the gap. Should be cut off by Claxton, but I guess cleans up at the sweeper position. Brings it over to an end. And after 13 overs, Australia, they are 104 for 2 here at Arnoldville.
Yeah, the run rate is 8 really, and 104 for 2. Australia, they should be looking for at least 10 runs per over in the middle period here, and then from about 15 overs or so, kick on up to about 12 to really put a challenging total on the board here for the West Indies team. They are really set 8 batters in the hood, and really they could set a serious total here for the West Indies team. But West Indies, on the other hand, they could bowl smartly, pull this game back, and actually bring themselves into contention for this game.
Well, in the last 3 overs they have bowled, they have only added 18 runs, the Australians, so 6 runs per over on the last 3 overs. So a bit of a recovery there from the West Indies women.
Agreed.
As we see Aline being introduced to the bowling attack. I'm sure our co-commentator will be really pleased to see that.
She didn't bowl a ball in the first game. She's given the opportunity in this game to bowl, and we're hoping that she does well for the West Indies here. Very ticklish situation she's in now. 2 set batters in Lynchfield and Perry. She's on 28 and 1 on 17.
She's into bowl to Perry. Perry gives some room, and that's in the air. Oh, that beats Kiana Joseph to the boundary. It was uppish just to her left. Seemed to have carried as well. That's 4 runs now to Perry. So not the best start here from Aline. Puts her under some immediate pressure with the boundary off the first delivery.
Yeah, I think it was pretty smart bowling by Aline. She gave herself some room, took the pace off, she went for the shot, and really threw the hands of Joseph into the fence for 4. That could have been another wicket for the West Indies team.
Aline again to Perry. Good delivery, excellent fielding there from Aline off her own bowling. We've seen it from her. We saw her in the West Indies tournament as well. A thinking bowler, has a lot of variation. In that tournament, she actually captained the Barbados team to victory. And we expect to see her using that nose in such a situation. She'll be under pressure, as we mentioned, bowling to Perry, who is the most experienced player in this particular fixture. This one, she goes over the top, Perry. Does she? No, that's... Oh, my word. Glasgow, she was making all the ground back too long off. She got there in the end, but her momentum was still going back, and doesn't affect the catch. She'll be very disappointed with that, Janila Glasgow. She's usually a fine fielder.
Yeah, she did exceptionally well to get herself into that position, and the ball just striking her in the hands and bouncing out, and she, as you said, the momentum was taking her forward. She couldn't get to the second bounce, and unfortunately that catch has gone up begging. But Aline is doing a pretty good job so far.
It's good bowling again. Cramps off a room. They will think about 2. Claxton, they I think they saw who the fielder was and said no.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Aline, but pretty good effort there by Glasgow.
Yeah, as you mentioned, she was running back in almost a side-on position, and she was running back quite quickly. So once the ball hit her hand and bounced out, for her to make this second attempt, she was already about 2 or 3 yards ahead of the ball.
Yeah, it would have been difficult for her to get that rebound, and unfortunately went up begging. And the score moves up now to 111 for 2 here at Arnoldville. A pack. Mike Finley Pavilion at this time. Frank Thomas is just about half. P.H. Vera as well, and the double-decker. So a very good turnout tonight.
Aline again into Litchfield. Good delivery. Beats outside the off stump. No run. Clearly taken by keeper Campbell.
Golden delivery in a T20 game. A dot delivery. So a pretty good over here being bowled here by Aline. 2 chances going up begging so far, and a dot delivery. She probably counted herself unfortunate
definitely
tonight.
Unfortunate. She's the type of bowler who will create some chances, especially at this stage of the game when the batters have to go at her. She's now in to bowl to Litchfield. It's a fuller delivery driven down. Oh, that one almost carrying to the fielder there at mid-off. Ricochet. And almost a chance of a run out as well. But all is well that ends well for Australia. 2 runs off that delivery, but an eventful over there from Ali in conceding 9 runs. And maybe she could have gotten 2 wickets.
Yeah, really good over by Aline, 113 for 2. Yeah, Australia. And she, as I said, she becomes herself very much unfortunate. The last delivery falling short of the fielder at long off and bouncing, and 2 runs coming from that delivery. 14 overs completed, 113 for 2. West Indies versus Australia. Australia winning the toss and electing to bat. Festive time here. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You could hear the bands in the stand. People are enjoying themselves. I've had cricket here for a while, and really they are taking in the action here between these two teams, West Indies and Australia, and we are having a very good game between these two teams thus far.
So Afi Fletcher to continue. Should be bowling to Perry. There is a square leg, a short fine, deep mid wicket, a long on, a long off, and a sweeper cover. She comes in now to bowl to Elise Perry. Flighted delivery. She's looking to ram, gets it over the keeper's head, but it's cut off by Ramharak, coming around from short fine leg. They have time for 1.
Yeah, just trying to get it over fine leg, but too slow a delivery. Well bowled by Fletcher as well, well disguised. When he could get it to the field at fine leg is Haley, and they pick up another single, 114 for 2. So in the middle period, the West Indies have done pretty good here so far. From over number 10 up now into over number 15, they have done pretty well, in my opinion. Keeping the Australians in check, 114 for 2.
Afi Fletcher batting to bowl to Litchfield. A switch hit, turn all the way around to bat right-handed, punching it back to Fletcher, who took the pace off, and there was time for a single as the mid-on fielder Glasgow did the cleaning up.
Yeah, just trying to switch things up there is Lynchfield. Fletcher not feeling cleanly, and a single coming from that.
Fletcher again into, and that one is hit uppishly. Doesn't time it as well on that occasion. Perry, just a single. It was hit straight down the ground using her feet and not timing it to perfection. Ample time for the fielders at long off and long on to intercept.
Yeah, pretty good time here for the West Indies team. Very good bowling by these bowlers. Aline, now Fletcher started things. This delivery is punched to backward point for another single. Sweeper comes off the boundary, and the return comes into the wicket keeper. So a very good period here for the bowlers for the West Indies team. Excellent bowling by them, 117 for 2.
Fletcher again into Perry. Using her feet. It's uppishly. That's a magnificent attempt by both fielders actually. Firstly, the captain Matthews at short extra cover and the sweeper cover Claxton. Neither of them able to intercept. And that was a flashing boundary there from Perry. Using her feet as she has been doing quite considerably and quite often. And they're just finding the gap for 4 on the offside.
Yeah, just praising the bowlers for doing well, and all of a sudden it went to the fence for 4.
Fletcher again into Perry. This time just a bit shorter, as you would expect after being punched on the offside, and that's a brilliant shot. That one was timed very well because she just stood on the back foot and just used her wrist, punching it just wide of lawn, and then getting it away to the boundary for 4. It's a top shot.
Easy shot, came back on the back foot and looked for the gap and punching it through mid-on, and really it was timed immaculately, and really piercing those 2 fielders and goes into the fence for 125 for 2. Just praising the bowlers in these first 4 overs or so, and all of a sudden 2 balls into the boundary for 4. 8 runs from 2 deliveries. Score rate goes back up to 8.33. 15 overs, 125 for 2. Australia winning the toss, electing to bat.
Yeah, it's interesting how we see the bowlers being used by the skipper Matthews. Quite a bit of bowlers available for use. And she bowls now to Litchfield. Matthews swept out to square leg. They're coming back for 2. Mangrove. It's a fairly good throw, but not a powerful throw. And so they have completed 2 runs quite easily in the end.
A very, very important period this is. From here on into over number 17, it really sets the platform as to how much Australia gets and how well West Indies will do to the back end. These 3 overs are pretty important.
Matthews again to Litchfield. Swept, but this time straight to Mangrove. Should only have 1. And she keeps it down to a single. Litchfield loves the sweep shot. Both the reverse sweep and the conventional sweep. She has played it quite often in this innings. And, brings Perry back into stride. The dangerous Perry. Packs a punch. Matthews will be bowling to her now. There's a long on, long off. Deep mid wicket. Deep backward square leg. Flatter delivery. Pulled straight to the fielder on the boundary at deep backward square leg. Almost going over her head on the bounce. And she does well, Stephanie Taylor. Keeps them down to a single.
Yeah, good middle period here for the West Indies team. The fast bowlers have been... One fast bowler have been used, that is Dottin so far. But the spinners have bowled well, Afi Fletcher. And all of a sudden, you have taken Aline off the ball from the bottom end, who had a pretty good over. I was surprised that she was taken off. This one is in the air. But she'll be out. Yes, she is. Hitting it down to backward square. And the plan has worked. I just spoke about taking off Aline, but the skipper will give me a spank there. Haley Matthews picking up a very important wicket.
Yes, you could see that was a plan from Litchfield. She's looking to go across the line more often than not against the off spinner. Either sweeping or on that occasion just a cross-batted hit. And didn't really get any timing on it. It was a very easy catch for Ali to complete, effecting that dismissal. Yes, you raise a valid point about the removal of Ali from the bowling crease. Personally, I would have given her another over. After that first over, created several chances. Maybe it's a case where they want her to bowl at the dead.
Well, she bowled a pretty good over, but the skipper knows best. She brought herself back into the attack, taking a pretty good wicket here at this time. And West Indies have really gotten a very good middle period in this game. This is very important for them. They need not to be chasing a big total tonight. Looking to square the series tonight here in this 3 games series between Australia. And if they ought to do that, they ought to strike pretty well in this middle section, middle patch of this game, and they've done well so far.
So the batter is Wareham, just turns this one down behind square on the on side for an easy 2 runs. Gets off the marks and on her first delivery, so not wasting any time. Wareham seem to have been given a little promotion up the order as well.
Well, 131 for 5. She's known to hit the long ball as well. So they have brought her in to actually up the scoring, in my opinion.
This one is hit firmly, just wide of the long on fielder, Dottin. Keeps them down to a single. And that brings the over to an end. So after 16 overs, Australia, they are 132 for 3. Perry, she's not out on 35 off 22. And Georgia Wareham has just joined her. She's on 3 of 2 deliveries. Matthews completes her spell, 4 overs, 1 for 33. And we saw before that Afi Fletcher completing her spell, 4 overs, 1 for 32.
Yeah, really good middle period here for the West Indies cricket team. Good bowling here by Fletcher, good bowling by Skipper. And also, Aline, who bowled a pretty good over. Went for 9, but created chances. Who knows if she would come back into the play. But 132 for 3 here is a pretty good position to be in. Australia probably looking to be a little bit further, 140, 150 plus after the start that they got. But a good bowling performance thus far by the West Indies team in the middle, and have brought things back pretty evenly here. As we see the reintroduction of the fast bowling.
Yes, Dottin now back in the bowling mark. She will be bowling to Wareham, the new batter. She comes in now to Wareham. This one is outside the off stump. Seems to be continuing with that wide line outside the off stump. A la Dwayne Bravo.
Yeah, she has a set feel for that as well. She has a third man, a sweeper, backward point, short extra cover, and a mid-off. So she could actually bowl that sort of line. Just have to be careful with the line, the width as well that she gives the batter.
She comes in now to Perry. She's looking to drive this one. Should go down to close to the field that doesn't carry. But that one just coming off the edge. As you could see, both batters here now making that adjustment. They're taking a guard just around off stump to try to negate that wide line.
Yeah, some excellent bowling here by Dottin. Taking the pace off the ball as well and bowling it wide outside the off stump, and the batters have to reach.
She's in again to bowl to Wareham. That's punch over extra cover. 2-3 bounces into the boundary for 4. Excellent shot by Wareham.
Well, he just made an observation, and I don't think Dottin saw that, where Wareham went outside of the off stump, took a guard, and got closer to delivery. The same delivery she bowled a while ago, but she was closer, and she threw her hands at that and smashed it over cover into the fence for 4. And she has to be very careful as to the adjustment for the batters and her bowling as well.
Yes, and Wareham seems to be that bottom-handed type of player. Whips through the ball when she's batting, so even these fuller deliveries she can get under because of that technique. Has to be mindful of that Dottin. She comes in again to Wareham. This one is even wider. This one will be called wide. Very wide delivery on that occasion.
Yeah, she just tried to bowl it a little quicker outside the off stump with a little bit more pace. She pulled back the length as well, but it was too wide outside the off stump. Didn't cause any trouble to the batter, and the umpire had no problems in signaling that wide.
So is there a case now with the field set as it is and with the batters going outside the off stump to try for that middle stump York?
They has to be careful. The protection on the onside is not as strong as the offside, so she has to be pretty full or good length outside the off stump.
This one is hit down too long off. Should only be one. Ramarak does the fielding, keeps them down to a single.
That's a better length and line. Full delivery up in the crease. Only could go to mid-off. You have the protection and sweeper and third man. So I'm advising her to bowl that line and length. Has to be very careful with the width.
This time she's into Perry's Dottin. This one she's whipping it over the onside. That goes into the boundary. Excellent batting. She was tempted into that straighter one. And there was Perry getting under it and whipping it over square leg for 4.
Yeah, this is a difficult field to bowl to with a batter like that. She came into the wickets. She got a little bit straighter Dottin, and she was whipped over mid-wicket into the fence for 4. Not a lot of protection on the onside, and that ball went flying.
As Perry now moves up to 40 off 24, giving the innings some impetus here after the bright start that we saw from Georgia Vaughan. At this point, they seem as if they will overhaul it, surpass the total that they got on Thursday night, which put some significant pressure on the West Indies batters.
Yeah, just a little bit change in the field now. The third man comes up and deep mid-wicket goes back. I think she's giving herself a little bit more option here, Dottin. This one is outside the house. I'm trying to reverse sweep early. And into the keeper's glove brings you over to an end at 144 for 3 here, Australia in the 17th over. 17 overs completed here at Arnoldsville. Pretty good game between these two teams.
Yeah, just looking at what was that? 17 overs, 144 for 3. As you mentioned, 7 wickets still in hand. 18 deliveries left. So you would expect from now on an ultra aggressive approach from the Aussie batters.
Well, you have wickets in hand, which is pretty important in a T20 game. And once you have wickets in hand, you have the authority to go after the bowling. At this point, you have another 18 deliveries to go. You have to maximize what has been given to you. And really, I think Australia would go all guns here from here on in with wickets in hand, 7 wickets in hand. And you have a set batter as well that goes to your benefit.
So Claxton will be continuing. She'll be bowling to Wareham. Nobody back on the offside. All the protection is on the leg side. On the boundary, she comes in again to Wareham. Slow delivery, pops up to the keeper. Takes the catch. I'm not sure if it came off the bat. Bit of a muted or stifled appeal, led by signal by the umpire. So obviously not out based on the umpire's opinion.
Perry has moved up to 40 from 25, and Wareham is 9 from 6.
Yeah, just coming off the tie pad. Claxton again into Perry. Sweeps this one on the onside. She'll be thinking of 2. It's well placed. Should be an easy 2. And they get them comfortably. That's good cricket from Perry. Showing her experience on house. All those years playing for Australia. And over 170 international T20 games coming to the fore.
Well, you can see that coming through her batting as well, and the way that she has performed her duties here for Australia. All the years of service really coming out in her game, playing a pretty good innings. She has moved up to 42 from 26.
Claxton into Perry. Short delivery. Beaten as she looked to pull this one through square leg. It's not a bad ploy there on that occasion.
Yeah, that delivery from Clarkson had some pace on it as well. Went through before she could actually play that shot into the keeper's glove, and just above shoulder height, and that's one in the over, signaled by the umpire. So good ploy, as you said, by Clarkson to Perry. Probably a little bit tired as well too.
Clarkson comes in again. This time she's whipped down to the boundary, and that's easily caught there by Dottin. She made that look so easy. She judged it superbly and was able to pouch it. It was timed well by Perry, in all honesty, but there was Dottin effecting the catch, and it's another wicket for the Windies women.
Yes, a delivery just on the off stump, and she came into it and really whipped it off her pads into the air of mid-wicket, and Dottin covered a lot of ground to get to that delivery, get to that ball, and really make it look rather simple. It wasn't a simple catch, it was hit with some power as well, and she took a beautiful catch on a mid-wicket boundary, claiming wicket number 447 for 4. West Indies here really fighting back against Australia, and they are 147 for 4, a good wicket to have at this point.
Yes, Dottin, she may be the most experienced of the Windies players, but still probably the best fielder on the team.
One of the best fielder in the world.
Yeah, even at this stage of her career.
Yes.
It brings when you batter to the crease. It's like McGrath.
It's an excellent break here for the West Indies, and really to get your set batter at this point is very, very important. It tells you how well they have bowled in the middle, West Indies.
So Claxton to McGrath. Good delivery. They're thinking of 2, but won't get it in the end. Settle for 1. So it's a good over here from Claxton. So far she has only conceded 3 runs and she has taken a wicket. This is what you want from your bowling at the depth.
Yeah, good comeback over here by Claxton. I just see the catch being shown on the big screen again, as she continues to do well.
She's in again to go to Wareham this time, who just whips it through square leg. They think of 2. Should have enough time for it. Let's get it easily in the end. So that's good placement. This is something that you have seen continuously from the Aussie team in both games. Wonderful placement and aggressive running between the wickets. It's something that, you know, anybody who's watching cricket, whether male or female, can take a lot from. As the over comes to an end, brings up the 150 for Australia. They are 150 for 4 after 18 overs here at Arnoldville.
Yeah, you have just brought up a point there where you have not seen an instant where we could have said that the Australian could have gotten a run tonight and didn't take it. They have taken every opportunity given to them. Singles, hit the boundaries, bad deliveries, they have dispatched them. So their game has been really tight, in my opinion. They have taken all the singles that they can, and they have really played aggressively in the middle. West Indies, really, if you have felt, they are feeling pretty well. Took all the catches, a few half chances, One could have been a catch in my opinion, but 150 for 4 and just another 12 deliveries remaining. They have to be careful here as to how they bowl these last 2 overs.
So Deandra Dottin should be bowling the 19th over, and from all indications, Claxton will be bowling the last over.
Could be Aline.
It could be. But I said from all indications. Interesting though that you see, judging from the way that Aline and Claxton bowl, and I will come back to you in a while. Dottin now to bowl to McGrath. She's into her now, just coming off the bottom edge, straight to the keeper on the bounce. So dot delivery. You may ask yourself why probably that somebody like Claxton or even Aline could have bowled more overs in this game. That's something that we'll discuss a little bit later.
Probably later.
Dottin now comes into Magra. Oh, interesting call. I mean, it's a wide delivery, but she was all the way over, about to the wide line, the batter. So an interesting call there from the umpire. I think that is what is being protested by the wicket keeper Campbell.
Yeah, she got close enough to the delivery to dispatch it. I think the rules have changed over the periods. Once you're close enough, it should not be called a wide. But the umpire is in the best position to do so. She called it a wide.
This time she's punching it just behind square on the offside. Sweeper comes around there, taking on the arm, and this is it's excellent running from Magra, but I am wondering about the keeper's position there. Probably the position next to the stump might have gotten her.
Well, I think the throw was pretty good, but a little bit slow in the air. Magra got there and turned back and got back there very quickly, safely as well. Another 2 runs to Australia. Good running between the wickets. Brilliantly bowled again by Dottin. She refuses to fire at the stumps. Smart cricket that is. No one backing up. She passes way on the boundary, and I think that's pretty smart cricket there by Dottin.
Yes, if she didn't effect the run out, then it definitely would have been an extra run based on the distance to the fielders at long on and deep mid wicket. Probably would have gone more to the deep mid wicket fielder based on where she picked it up.
And maybe probably run to the fence as well. Is in again. This one is in the air. Somebody's coming under it. Would she take the catch? Yes, she does. Another wicket goes. 154 for 5. And a well-deserved wicket here by Deandra Dottin. Smart bowling, and the experience is coming out.
Yes, she has executed the plans that she had a bit better than in the first game. Probably a bit of rust. Not playing international cricket for some time before this season, and this game she has executed her plan a lot better. That one just going into the wicket, catching Wayham just by a bit of surprise there. She was looking to go down the ground, not really the length for that shot, and coming off the top edge, easy catch for the fielder lob on Jadelia Glasgow. So they have continued to take wickets here, the Windies women, keeping themselves in the contest. As earlier, Australia were looking to probably run away with the last 10 overs, given their position at that time, having out the wickets in hand, with set batters at the crease.
Yeah, West Indies should be very pleased with the comeback here. 154 for 5. Australia having a pretty good start. And now 154 for 5 here in this the penultimate over, bowled by Deandra Dottin.
Dottin again. Oh, that one is down the left side. The batter is Carey.
No signal coming from the umpire. Seems to clip the pad on the way to the wicket keeper.
It's Nicola Carey. I don't know if she's any relation to Alex. He's on the test team for the males. And another excellent delivery there from Dottin. That one was full on the stump. A slow ball Yorker, really, back of the hand. And it's a dot delivery, and she'll be pleased with her finish in this game. Started off under some pressure in that first over, but she has completed her spell now. 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 31. The returns for Deandra Dottin in this game.
Yeah, good bowling here by Dottin. Despite the third column 30 from 4, She's picked up a wicket and she bowled a pretty good over to complete things here for the West Indies ladies here at Annesville. We're into the final over of the first half.
So as predicted, Jazara Claxton will bowl in the last over. She'll be bowling to Talia McGrath. Deep set onside field. And she's in now. This one is on the pads. She's whipping it just behind square on the onside. Think of two. But throw comes in, a firm throw. Well backed up there by Mangro in the covers. Just had that extra bounce of that the square as it came in the throw from Stephanie Taylor. But all is well that ends well for the West Indies women. 155 for 5 deliveries remaining for Australia in this innings.
Yes, some excellent cricket here by West Indies. Good feeling, good backing up. So the teamwork is really on hand here for the West Indies team. Final 5 deliveries to be bowled. 155 for 5 Australia.
So Carey is on strike. Claxton begins her run up now. Comes into bowl to Carey. Diminutive left-hander. She's pulling over square leg. That's 4 runs. That's a naughty delivery. There was no one out there, and really no cause for bowling short with this type of field setting.
Yeah, short loose delivery by Clarkson. The field is not set for that either, and she waited on that and really smacked it over square leg into the fence before. A loose delivery.
It looked like she was attempting a slower bouncer, but not too sure why you do that at this stage. You're in control, you're bowling to the new batter. Keep things as simple as possible. And she comes in again to bowl to Carey. This one is punched through the offside. That's a very good shot from Carey. But again, too short from Claxton. Bowling at the death, that's not the length that you should be bowling at the death. And she'll be very disappointed with those 2 deliveries and another boundary to the Aussies.
Well, immediately after that forced loose delivery from Clarkson, the skipper decided to bring in the sweeper, and all of a sudden Clarkson went on the offside. That should have done in the first delivery, and she has straightened the onside, and she has gone through the offside for another 4. So some inconsistent bowling here by Clarkson in the first delivery, 2 deliveries in the final over, and they have gone into the fence for 4. Australia moves up to 163 for 5.
She's coming around the wicket now. Better length, that's what's important there. Chance of a run out, but gets there safely, does Magra. I think every time they have earned on the shorter side, the West Indies bowlers, they have been punished, especially the pacers.
Yeah, good batting track here at Annesville. It's actually stood up and the batters gets on top of it and place it in the gap. Really, you have some time as well. It's not a pretty fast surface, but it's a good batting track. Once it is short, you could make use of it. Whether on the onside or offside, we have seen that throughout the batting here of Australia. And they have done exceptionally well in dispatching those short deliveries.
Claxton into the tall figure of Talia McGrath. Short again, outside the offside, but she gave herself some room. So in the end, it was a dot delivery. We have just outthought ourselves on that occasion, McGrath.
Yeah, that had some pace on it as well from Claxton. Hit the deck hard. She gave herself some room, went to the onside. Couldn't get to that ball and into the keeper's glove. So well bowled by Claxton. Good comeback delivery.
Claxton again, last delivery of the innings. Beaten outside the off stump. So that's the end of the off-season innings. They made 164 for 5 off their 20 overs. And Georgia Vole got them going 39 off 23. Quick start before she was dismissed by Ramarak. And the top scorer for them was Elise Perry, dismissed by Claxton, dotting 42 off 28. Bowling for the West Indies, 1 wicket apiece for Dottin, Claxton, Matthews, Karishma Ramarak, and Afi Fletcher. So at this point, we have seen the first innings from Australia. 164 for 5. Kenroy, what are your thoughts on the innings?
Yeah, pretty good score, 165 for 5, and a good batting track West Indies need to come out and bat pretty well. The power play is critically important. They need to score well. Haley needs to get some runs. Taylor needs to get some runs. Also, the demented wicket keeper from Guyana needs to get some runs. And actually, I think the first 4 or 5 batters from West Indies really need to put up their hands tonight if they are to get to that total of 164 to square the series against Australia.
Yes, and we saw in the last game that they got to 164, so it's the exact score. Just one less wicket lost by Australia. So they may know something about the wicket that we don't know because they know how to make 164.
Well, it's just telling West Indies I'm giving you the same test that I gave you the night before. Let me see how well he could do tonight. They lost by 40 odd runs in the first game, and really they should come out and do much better tonight and get that score just to square the series and make the series very, very interesting come Monday.
All right, so we'll be back here at Arnersville in a few minutes with the response. Australia, after 20 overs, they have gotten to 164 for 5. It means that the West Indies women will need 165 for victory, and we will be right back with the chase.
$240,000. That's the Super 6 jackpot for Tuesday, March 17th. It's $240,000.
More jackpot money, more reasons to play this game. More money for way. Super 6 a bigger jackpot game.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase. Starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG, our one bank together we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, saying it loud. BOSVG, BOSVG. Hey, building our future. BOSVG, doing more
SVG, doing more.
SVG, get ready. The National Lotteries Authority is now offering more chances to win with 3D and Play 4 now 3 times a day. 3 times a day. There's a morning draw at 11 a.m., afternoon draw time 3 p.m., and the night draw from 9 p.m. Get your tickets for 3D and Play 4 now drawn 3 times daily, Monday to Saturday, all from the National Lotteries Authority, giving you more chances to win. Any terms and conditions apply.
And the Grenadines. T20 cricket is back at the Arnesville Sports Complex. The West Indies women versus Australia women. Way outside. March 19th, 21st, and the 23rd at 6:30 p.m. sharp. Entry is free for everyone. Bring the entire family and let's rally with our Maroon Warriors. We outside at Arnesville. Don't miss it. Visit windiescricket.com for full fixtures.
So welcome back to the Annesville Sporting Complex for this start of the West Indies innings, trying to get 165 for victory. We are at the start. Kiana Joseph, where West Indies 2 without loss, as Nicola Curry in and bowls to the left-handed Joseph, who whips it down to short, fine leg. And there is no run. Darcy Brown is there. So the left-handed Curry has a third man. A backward point, extra cover, a sweep on the boundary, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, a deep square leg and a short fine leg. So Joseph is on 2. West Indies needing to get 165 as Carey comes in and bowls to Joseph, and Joseph again works it to the right of the short fine leg. They go for 1. That's all they would be. And the total goes on to 3. And we are coming to live from Annesville. Compliments the National Lotteries Authority and Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the snacks provided by Ikata Foods, Stanley. And Captain Haley Matthews comes in to strike. And she is in need of runs, acknowledging that she's short on runs, hoping that she can find some form and can push the West Indies into a good position. One of the senior batters in the West Indies lineup.
Charlie, apparently Haley forgot that she got a century in the ODI, the last game in Grenada. So how could she be out of form?
Well, she is lamented that she's a bit short on form. Here is Curry in and bowls, and she's off the back foot, bangs it out to square cover, and there is no run. That's one of our pet shots. And
yeah, Charlie, the point is she didn't score as heavily as she expected to against Sri Lanka. The last game, she got a century.
Right, so she settles, she's waiting, looks around. So for the right-hander, third man, backward point, square cover, extra cover, mid off, mid on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, and a short fine leg in and bowls, and she's whipping that through mid-wicket, lovely shot. But the sweeper comes off the boundary there and fires it in. So she's off the mark. She's on 1. The end of over number 1. It's 4 without loss after 1.
Quiet start from Carey, the first for the first time. Thereabout, and just from the quiet start, and we'll see exactly how things pan out in relation to the West Indies. But they have to try and get exactly 165 as they were asked to on Thursday night. One little difference is that the Australians lost 1 wicket more on Thursday night than tonight. 164 for 5 on Thursday, 164 for 6 on Thursday, 164 for 5 on Saturday. Could the West Indies really and truly, they need a very good start if they were ready to challenge this total.
So here is Gart to Matthews, who's working that out to backward point. And there is no runs. So refreshments provided by Ikata Foods. And we are bringing it to you live from Annesville. Compliments the National Lotteries Authority and the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Very good crowd here at Annesville, as here is Garth in and bowls, and she goes back again, guides it out to backward point. There is no run, straight to the fielder.
Charlo, I think we have probably, my guesstimation is seemingly about 3,000, 3,005.
Yes, so certainly a pretty decent crowd, and really very refreshing to see.
As is expected, though.
It was expected.
Definitely expected.
Mike Finley Pavilion looks about 3/4 full, so too, I think, PH Vera Pavilion. And this time Haley Matthews working it out to mid-wicket. and there is no run. So good start here by Garth. And Matthews, she remains on 1. At the non-strikers end is Kiana Joseph. She's on 3. So 3 from 4 deliveries. Matthews 1 from 5. As Garth turns in front of us, just in front of the CG United logo and Betcage Sport. And in and bowls, and she's driving out to mid-on. Ken says good bowling here on the part of Garth. And keeping the score in check. The 4 dot deliveries thus far in the over. And each dot delivery builds the pressure here, Stanley.
Yeah, the good thing about it, whilst it's building the pressure, the ball seems to be hitting the middle of the willow from Matthews. So it's a good tussle here between both bat and ball. She's keeping the line, she's keeping the length. And Matthews is doing the same thing. 4 deliveries thereabout, and she defended all.
So here is Garth as she goes past the umpire and bowls, and Matthews gets a slow delivery right up in the back hole and just managed to come down on it and keeps it out. And total remains on 4 without loss. So 5 dot deliveries, and Garth the final legal delivery in this over. She turns as he polishes just in front of the 30-yard circle. Walks first. Now she breaks into the run, goes past the umpire and bowls. And Matthews was looking to swing that on the onside. I think taking on the body, on the high up on the tie, and a maiden here by Garth to start. So after 2 overs, it's West Indies 4 without loss.
Very rare do you see or hear about maidens in T20 cricket. As a very good maiden as well, hitting the line 5 out of 5. The last one she tried to hit it around and she fell a bit 6 inches of the air from the previous 5 that she didn't connect. And 1 maiden over will have to get the runs now in 19 overs. That's how we have to look at it. But it's a very good over, and it will take some getting here by Kiana Joseph. She'll have to play the type of innings she played on Thursday night. That type of start. Failure to do that is a matter setback for the West Indies. They'll have to up the run rate in the 19 overs available, because 1 is bowled already, so it's not. So it's really 19 is down to 19.
So it is Joseph who will be on strike as the Australian just adjusting the field.
Charlie, this is a crucial over. Once a maiden is bowled, you have to get runs in the next over.
So here comes Curry into bowl to Joseph. Goes past Abbott and bowls wide outside the awesome. Signal by the umpire. And the total goes on to 5. So Joseph has a 3rd man, backward point, cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, a deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg, and a short fine leg. That's the field for Joseph. And you can see Carey just about adjusting the cover. And here is Carey in and bowls. And she's swinging at that off the outside edge over 3rd man down to the boundary for 4. And she threw the kitchen sink at that, flew off the outside edge and down to the boundary for 4. The total goes on to 9. 9 without loss.
Yes, delivery just around middle and a half going across her. She threw the kitchen sink at it, took the outer portion and flew over short 3rd man. Has to be inside the circle. And she got away with it. 4 runs, a boundary, 9 without loss. And this is Kiana Joseph at her best.
Carry in and bowls. Joseph is swinging that out between mid-wicket and square leg. This will go across the roads, back-to-back boundaries. And you can hear the crowd. They are into the action. Back-to-back boundaries here for Kiana Joseph. The total rushes on to 13. And you said earlier, this over you'll have to get some runs, because the previous over was a maiden and she did just that. Some 8 runs already, and the total goes on to 13.
9 already wide.
9 plus the wide.
2 deliveries.
Yes.
So it's a question of common sense now for her to try and do not lose her wicket by any indiscretion.
So here is Carey in, and she's swinging that on think on the bounce to the short FI leg, and I think Carey was be lucky there, because had Kiana Joseph got good bat on that would have gone out to a deep backward square leg area, and it would have been a lot of work for the square leg fielder to cut that off. So here is Carey once more, in and bowls. Joseph is driving out to mid-off firmly, and there is no run. Total remains on 13. So Kiana Joseph, she has been around for some time, and the West Indies would love her to come good at this particular stage, looking to level the 3-match series. Australia leading 1-0. And here is as he works it out to mid-on, and there is no run. So again, Stanley, because of Kiana Joseph's size, she's not the fastest of movers, but that's similar shot the Australians would have taken a single.
They will check it and move a comfortable single, but she punches it, and we know she's not the quickest runner. Probably she's the slowest runner out there, and there's no run.
So here is Carey as she motos in and bowls. Joseph is working that now to the left of the mid-on. Wanted a single. Captain Haley Matthews says no, you stay where you are. And the third over comes to an end. So at the end of over number 3, it's 13 without loss.
A very interesting over there, whereby they should have gotten more runs in terms of at least another 1 or 2, because every run counts at this stage of the game. But she's unfortunate, she's not going to get the singles, so she's going to be scoring in one crease. Other than that, you're not going to get this. The rotation of the strike is absent because of her size.
So Garth will continue from the southern end. She will be bowling her second over, and she will be bowling to Haley Matthews. Matthews on 1 from 8 deliveries, in and bowls, and she plays that out to short. Turnman wants a single, not fielded cleanly there, but they have to return to their respective creases.
The problem is with Kiana Joseph, she's not going for those singles, child. You can all see it, and the crowd is seeing it. You are getting the feedback, and the crowd is definitely realizing that she's not going to run these singles.
So it's 13 without loss. We are in over number 4. Garth goes away from us, past the umpire now, and bowls, and good delivery. Matthews was looking to work that on the onside.
As a result of her not running, she's putting pressure on Haley Matthews. That is where the problem really is with Kiana. If she doesn't get boundaries, the team will set back even further.
Garth turns in front of us without stopping, walks first as he breaks into her run, goes past the umpire now. Matthews goes back and works that down to backward point. They through for a single. This time Kiana Joseph goes through for a single, and the total now on to 14.
You're getting the reaction
in
from
fact,
the crowd.
they have gone up to the third umpire, but it looks as if she has gotten in, but the third umpire would have some work to do. So we're still waiting on that decision. So the Australians, they are in a huddle, perhaps anticipating that they have picked up a wicket. But the crowd is very much into it.
Well, we are waiting on the decision from the umpires. We are not sure. We are far away from it.
Yes, and unfortunately, we are not seeing the replay. We will see the result. And,
she's out.
She's out. My word. I thought that she had gotten in, but she's out. And so, West Indies have lost their first wicket. In Kiana Joseph, she's been run out for 11. And the West Indies are now 13 for 1.
This was always on the cards, Charlie. Once you're going to run, this is definitely on the cards because of her weight. the size. And the Australians were very confident that she was out because they went into a huddle, and they realized they had a chance in terms of a run out. And as what we saw on the big screen, she's on her way. And Kiana goes, so it's now a question of the pressure that was built up from the maiden over. She got 8, and then Haley refused a single earlier in the over. Then she decided to take this one, and Kiana find herself short of the crease. And West Indies have lost the hard-hitting Kiana Joseph due to not being able to make the ground good.
So Campbell comes out to do battle. In fact, Stephanie Taylor, who guides it out to backward point, and there is no run. So Taylor comes out, overthrow, and they're through for a single, and another overthrow. There's this poor work in the part of Australia. Not very often you see this. So Taylor gets 2. The total goes on to 15. Some sloppy work on the part of Australia, and Taylor is off the mark.
Very unusual because they tend to back up each other, and for some reason they identify their player that square cover point. Not a throw at the stump. Should not have done it. Maybe she's still thinking that it's Kiana Joseph, and they got someone pushes it out back to cover, and there is no run. So it's what, 16
with for 1.
One.
We're still in over number 2.
Kiana Joseph gone for 11, run out
for 11.
It's always on the cards once you're going to take any sharp single or any sort of single where she has to struggle. And she didn't even struggle this time. She didn't reach. Unfortunate, but that's how it is. So
Taylor just waiting on Mooney, who decides to keep up to the stumps as guard. Runs away from us to bowl to Matthews, and in and bowls, and Matthews goes back, plays it out to backward point. They go through for 1. The sweeper comes off the boundary, tidies up and fires it on the bounce. And at the end of over number 16, over number 4, it's 16 for 1, going at just 4 runs and over.
Yes, so Kiana is out of the way. So it's the veteran Stephanie Taylor, who is just joined captain Haley Matthews with the crease. And this is one of about 3 in relation towards getting this run, because the run rate has definitely gone up. It hit 149 in 16 overs. About 9.5 per over. That you have to try and bring that run rate down with some sensible batting.
So Alana King comes into the attack, and
I think that's what you call it, the modern term matchups. They're looking to get Haley Matthews out. We saw it Thursday night. Came in very early, and she did dismiss Haley Matthews, and I think this is the matchup.
So 2 senior players in the West Indies lineup at the crease. So here is Alana King to bowl to Matthews, to Taylor, who is driving down to mid-on. There is no run. It's 16 for 1, and we are coming to live from Annesville. Compliments the National Lotteries Authority and Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Refreshments provided by Cater Foods. As there is Taylor gently into the outside, and they threw for 1, and had that hit, she would have been gone for all the worth. Very suicidal single.
Should have gone for all her money. King hit that return to the stumps, with someone back on. But so I think Matthews is trying to get away from her.
So a single is on to this is 17. Just a replay of the King in the first game. Picked up some 3 wickets for 13. As here is him once more. And Matthews is working that out on the onside. Taylor wants a single. It's not there. And Matthews still struggling. She's 1 from 12. And total remains on 17. So here is King to bowl to Matthews once again, and this time she's sweeping and sweeping well. High down to the backward square for 6. She played that in the first game. She lost the wicket. This time she picked it well and dispatched it over deep square leg for 6. And a welcome boundary for the West Indies.
Yeah, it's a maximum there by Hayley Matthews. She did the same thing on Thursday night that she lost the wicket. She tried it again this time. She connected and it sailed towards the President's Suite. And it turned out to be a lovely shot for 6.
Goes back and bangs it to backward point, and there is no run. The total remains 23 for 1. We are in over number 5 as Alana King, the leg spinner from the northern end, turns and comes into bowl to Matthews, in and bowls. And Matthews goes back and again bangs it to backward point. This could be a deep run out. No, she got back just in time. Knocked down by the backward point, but tidied up by the third man who was a bit wide. And she had to dive to get back in. End of over number 1 for King. It's 7 runs off the over, 23 for 1 after 5 stand.
Certainly a very interesting over, very exciting over, a big boundary for a maximum, a near run out from a very good shot from Matthews, and the excitement is really building as each dot ball puts more pressure on the West Indies batting lineup because of that one over, that maiden over, and then these small overs inside the power play to make it a little harder.
So Matthews, she's on 7. Taylor, who is on strike, she's on 4 from 5. Matthews 7 from 15, and there's going to be a change in bowling at this southern end. It looks like Darcy Brown is coming into the attack, sporting number 28 on the back of her shirt. And she'll be bowling to the right-handed Taylor. Molino, the captain, just alongside, marshalling her forces. And there is a third man. There's a backward point on the boundary, cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, deep backward square and a short fine leg. Darcy Brown goes past the umpire now and bowls, and Taylor gets a short delivery and he works it down to fine leg, and they threw very quickly for 1, and the total goes on to 24. And Taylor with that single, she goes on to 5. So 5 to Taylor, 7 to Matthews, who comes into strike. And Matthews will now take strike.
I believe that maximum from Hayley Matthews should give her confidence in terms of she said in the post-match interview that she shot a run. So from a West Indian standpoint, I'm hoping that she'll stay there for a long time.
Brown is in short, and she's pulling out to deep backward square leg on the boundary, who comes off, keeps it down to a single. The total goes on to 25, and with that single, Matthews, she goes on to 8, a strike rate of 50, and Taylor, who is on 5 from 6 deliveries, comes into strike. So not any change in the field, because there are 2 right-handers at the crease, Stanley. So Brown goes in to bowl to Taylor, who gives herself some room and taken on the body that one bubbled around the crease, and she was quick to react to just guide it away with her right foot, and there is no run. So the total remains 25 for 1 in response to Australia, 164 for 5. So the West Indies still need 140 of some 14.3 overs. So it's going to be a big ask. Required run rate 9.66 as Brown in and bowls, and she's pulling that out to deep backward square. They go through for 1. The fielder covering ground very, very quickly. Looks like Carey, and fires it in, keeps it down to a single. The total goes on to 26, and she goes on to 6. And Taylor, who is on 8, comes into Matthews, who is on 8, comes into strike.
I do not think the Australians are too perturbed with the run rate at this moment. Singles is not too much of a problem.
Well, the crowd is rather quiet as Brung in, and she's down the track driving off the outside edge and tidied up by Mooney behind the stumps. And there is no run, so 26 for 1. And one legal delivery remaining to complete the 6th over the power play. And Brung. So a pretty good over from Brung thus far. So 3 runs off 5 deliveries as Matthews waits. Brung bowls, and she gets a slow delivery, works it out to mid-wicket. There was Taylor wanting a single, it's not there. Over number 6 comes to an end, and at the end of over number 6, Stanley, it's 26 for 1. At the similar stage, Australia were 54 without loss.
And they got the wicket in that over. That's as they were saying at the time when just when
the very final delivery of that over, they were 54 for 1.
But I must comment in the crowd, Charlie. I just looked across the double deckers has far more spectators than I really thought, to be very honest with you.
Well,
And,
it has been a fantastic crowd here.
It is definitely a fantastic crowd, in 2 ways about it. Some islands in the Caribbean will be happy to see half of this crowd.
Well, the double-decker, the Frank Thomas Pavilion, PH Vera, the Mike Finley Pavilion, very well populated. And there's going to be a change in bowling at the... In fact, King is going to continue at the northern end, and Taylor will be on strike. She's on 6. Alana King in and bowls. She's down the track and plays it out to extra cover, and they scamper through for 1, and they get that easily in the end. So the total goes on to 27.
I think I'll have to revise this estimate I gave earlier of 3,000. It's certainly more than that. Now I look at the double decker, you can see it has quite a...
There's quite a number of persons even on the top tier. So Matthews would now take strike as Alana King comes in and bowls. She goes back and hits it straight back over the bowler's head. This could go straight into the fence. It does, and the crowd erupts because there have been a scarcity of boundaries. And that one was powered straight back over the bowler's head for 4 by Matthews, and with that the total goes on to 31 for 1, and Matthews with that boundary goes on to 12. So here is King once more in and bowls, and she's swinging high over and over the bowler who parried it out to the backward square. She was on the boundary. That was it with some power, and it goes through her hands and over the ropes for 6. So the crowd is coming alive, and the total goes on to 37. Matthews goes on to 18.
At this level of cricket, Charlo, you ought to take those, because it went straight to her, a bit on the high side, but she should have held on to it. But fortunately for the West Indies, it went for maximum.
So, in, and she's driving out to mid-off on the bounce, and there is no run. So 37 for 1, and Matthews just about stepping on the gas.
Yes, he definitely has put her feet down on the gas.
So here's King once more in and bowl. She goes back and he hammers it out to backward point. There is no run. And so the total remains 37 for 1 after 6.5 overs in this 2020 matchup. And there is King once more in. And she's lifting that high over mid-off, who is running back. They were gone for 1. That's all they would be. She didn't time that well. And the total goes on to 38. So at the end of over number 7, it's 38. 38 for 1. And Matthews with that single. She goes on to 19. Taylor is on 7 as they meet in mid-pitch for a little conference.
Yes, she has taken the attack to the key bowler for the Australians in Alana King, striking her for 11 at over, maximum and the boundary. And as I said, the first 6 that she struck, we have given her enough confidence to regain some of the form we know she's capable of, and the way she bats. And I would say on behalf of West Indians, we'll be hoping that she will steady as long as possible, because she's looking very, very aggressive, looking confident in her stroke play.
So Molino is ringing the changes. It's McGrath who will take over at this end. This time Taylor is working it out on the onside. And with some poor work, they come back for the second. Is it? She had to leg buys, and she had to return to her respect to the crease. I think they were scampering back. The total now on to 40. Yes, on the pad there. Yes, 2 leg buys. Good running.
The crowd is really into this game, with those boundaries that are being struck by Matthews.
And I know he works it out to mid-wicket. They've gone for 1, but they settled for 1. I think this was hit a little too firmly as the mid-wicket fielder came off the boundary in a rush. And so with that, Matthews, she goes on to 20 of some 25 deliveries. And, well, it's Gart who is back into the attack. And the Taylor, who is on 7. She's swinging that out to short, fine leg. I think 2-3 feet to her left or right. She could have gotten some runs there, Stanley.
Definitely. And this pair is really looking promising as far as getting this total for the West Indies. They're really looking very positive, particularly Matthews.
So Gart once more in, and she's tickling that down to fine leg. Matthews decide to go through for 1. And they get it easily. The fielder had to move a little bit to her right, and the total goes on to 41. So Gart continues to bowl rather tightly, some 2.4 overs. McGrath, number 32. Gart carries the number 34. So McGrath in and bowls, and this time she works it out to mid-wicket. They hustle for 1, that's all they would be. And fires the return in on the bounce. So McGrath continues to bowl tight. Perhaps learned a lesson from Glenn, who has been a mean machine at the Test and ODI level. So Taylor comes back into strike. She's on 8. The non-striker Matthews on 21 in, and she works that nicely out to square leg. They're gone for 1. That's all they would be. Over number 8 comes to an end. It's 44 for 1. And certainly at that stage,
71.
Australia was 71 for 1.
And 44 for 1. And I think this next over to when the West Indies in the middle overs really held it very tightly. So I think as those middle overs do search on the definitely see how it goes, because the West Indies are definitely in with a golden chance if Haley Matthews and Stephanie Taylor bat probably for the next 5 overs thereabout. I think they will position themselves very well indeed if these two can remain in the crease, because Matthews definitely has upped the tempo, and she's being solidly supported by tickling the ball around in Stephanie Taylor. She's not really looking for any big shots, tickling it around and rotating the strike so that Haley Matthews can continue the move she has in.
So Alana King has been pulled out of the attack, and Carey comes back. So Carey will be bowling her 3rd over. McGrath has had 3. Series Carey in and bowls. And this time Taylor is cutting out to backward point, beats the backward point, but the sweeper comes off the boundary very, very quickly, keeps it down to a single, and the total goes on to 45. So just about 5.51 runs per over. The required rate has gone up to 10.14. According to Mr. Duckworth Lewis Stern, West Indies should have been at 56. So here is Carey in and bowls. And Taylor Matthews is driving that over cover. Deliberate shot over wide extra cover. Dump to the boundary for 4. And the crowd loving it. The horns are blowing. They are chanting, they are clapping, they are waving their flags as Matthews just about coming into the party and pumped that over wide extra cover down to the boundary for 4.
She is really on fire here, and she's as lit up Annesville in terms of the crowd participation. And certainly she's entertaining the spectators here. Some lovely stroke play and boundary after boundary keep rolling along. And the crowd is really hoping that she will stay there for as long as possible.
She's on 25, waits and carry. And she's swinging that out to mid-wicket. That one bounce across the rope, it was short. And she dispatched it with some level of disdain. As if to say, you bowl that to your friends. And that was in defense for 4. Back-to-back boundaries. The 50 comes up. The total goes on to 53. And Matthews looking good.
Definitely, as I said, she's on fire, and the crowd is really into it, and they're hoping to see many more boundaries. This is turning out to be a swashbuckling inning so far from Matthews, and I am certain the crowd will be hoping that we'll see more of this stroke play from an international and outstanding female batter.
She is a class player, and really, you'd want to see her there, even to the end. She's looking good. She is on 29 as carries in once more. And she's square driving that for 4. Lovely shot. 3 consecutive boundaries. And really the crowd is into it. The total hustles on to 57. And Taylor is looking ominous.
Well, as I said, the crowd is on its feet. They're dancing, they're shouting, they're enjoying themselves. And I rather suspect quite a few liquid refreshments is being absorbed on that side. And they're really, really enjoying themselves.
Well, certainly. You do have liquid refreshments in front of you. Compliments on the top. And so pressure here on Carey. As she comes in now to bowl to Matthews. And Matthews is cutting that, beating the backward point. They will get a single. Sweeper tidies up. And the total goes on to 58. And with that, Matthews, she goes on to 34. So she's 34 from 30. And Taylor, who is 10 from 13, comes in to strike.
She's giving her admirable support at the other end while she's actually scoring the boundaries with regularity.
So here is Carey to bowl to Taylor in, and Taylor is banging that out to cover. The sweeper covers ground, picks up and keeps it down to a single. Over number 9 comes to an end. It's 59 for 1 and some 15 runs coming in that over. A very good over indeed for West Indies.
Excellent over for the West Indies, and certainly the Australians, they're not wilting under the pressure. You can see them moving about with their super fitness right across their clean field here at Annesville. And I'll tell you something, what they're hoping for, the Australians, is to see the dismissal at the back of the field eventually, because if they're not careful, she will take this game completely away from them and maybe win by a canter.
So the crowd is alive here at Annesville in this encounter, the second T20 international between Australia and the West Indies in this 3-match series. And Litchfield, in fact, it's going to be Wareham
Skipper
who is going to pick it up. No, Wareham is going to pick it up from the southern end, and she will be bowling to Stephanie Taylor, and who settles and waits. Taylor in 11, in and bowls. And Taylor is swinging at that, goes down to short fine leg, no run. Garth is there, the number 34. So Taylor, who is on 11 from 15 deliveries at the non-strikers, and is Matthews, who's on 34 from 30 in, and she's driving down to long on, who covers ground very, very quickly indeed, is Perry, and keeps it down to a single. The total goes on to 60. So we are in over number 10. It's 60 for 1. In the previous game, the West Indies, they were 76 for 1 at one stage, and they ended at 121 for 6, chasing a similar total of 165.
Well, we'll all see what is happening here, because Haley Matthews was lit up Annisville. The crowd is hoping for her to stay there as long as possible to see more of this wonderful batting from the skipper.
So here is Perry in, and she's working that neatly out to mid-wicket, who comes off the boundary, and is a single. She goes on to 35. 35, 65, 61 for 5. And Taylor comes back into strike. She's on 12. In and bowls. And this time she's swinging out to deep backward square, who has a long run, covering ground very quickly to her right. Keeps it down to a single, but I think this is still poor running on the part of West Indies. That should have been 2. But it's a single, the total on to 62. 62 for 1. We are in over number 10. As number Wareham in and bowls, and a dot goes into the scorebook.
The Australians are definitely looking for a breakthrough, and more so the prize wicket of Matthews, because she's really lit up Annisville.
So Wareham to Matthews, who is on 35. In, bowls, and she goes back and she's backing that down to long on, where Perry comes off the boundary. It's a single. She goes up to 36, the total on to 63. So at the end of over number 10, it's 63 for 1. And coming to you live from Annisville, compliments the National Lotteries Authority and Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and refreshments provided by I Cater Foods as they come to the water break. And we're now going to have a shift as Alan Cruikshank comes into the commentary. Along with him is Kenroy Martin.
The crowd is expecting more shots all around the ground with just 10 overs remaining, and to continue the excitement here at Annisville, it's Kenroy Martin and Alison Cruikshank.
Thank you so much, Stanley Gunny Hines and Charles.
Piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG, our one bank together we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, sing it loud. BOSVG, BOSVG. Hey, building our future. BOSVG, doing more together.
OSBG, doing more.
SVG, get ready. The National Lotteries Authority is now offering more chances to win with 3D and Play 4 now 3 times a day. 3 times a day. There's a morning draw at 11 a.m., Afternoon draw time 3 p.m. and the night draw from 9 p.m. Get your tickets for 3D and Play 4. Now drawn 3 times daily, Monday to Saturday. All from the National Lotteries Authority, giving you more chances to win. Any terms and conditions apply.
Well, welcome back to Arnesville Playing Field, where the action is here between Australia and the West Indies. An evenly poised game here, and the stadium is well stocked like a bar, waiting for patrons. But the patrons are here already, and the game is on its way. Australia versus the West Indies. West Indies are 63 for 1, looking for a total of 164 in this the second game. Similar situation and circumstances existing here at Arnesville as game number 1. So is this game number 2. With me is Alanson Cruikshank. Alanson, we're here to start the second half, actually, the last half of this game. First delivery. This one is down the leg side into the keeper's glove. Wide signal by the umpire. Not a good start here for the last quarter of this game.
It's Brown into her second over. She bowled pretty tight over in her first over. Just 3 runs she conceded. She's looking for more of the same, but she'll have to be mindful that from that end she'll get some inward movement, some assistance with the wind. So she has to start outside the off stump.
Yeah, she is bustling around. This one is on the pads of Matthews. Whips it to mid-wicket. Takes an easy single. The fielder comes off the boundary. Return comes into the keeper. Another single. Hayley Matthews, Stephanie Taylor. Stephanie Taylor, former skipper for the West Indies. Hayley Matthews, now present skipper. Both of them need to take West Indies over the line tonight to have this series tied up and have a smasher on Monday between these two teams. But presently it is evenly poised. Crowd is here really chanting the West Indies, helping them and really motivating as she runs past the umpire. This one is pitched up, this one is hit hard. Over the top, into the fence for 4. So Taylor saying, I have no more time to waste. Pitched up, and she dealt with it accordingly.
Well, really a long half volley there from Brown, and just coming in to Taylor, who just hits that one inside out over the fielder at mid-off for 4 runs.
Yeah, has the length on it as well. Pitched up in her half, and she dealt with it accordingly. Over the top. Mid-off is in the circle as well, and she took that chance into the fence for 4. 69 for 1. Brown into Taylor outside, just on the leg stump. She just pulls that left foot up and just pulls it around down to find leg for another single. Score moves up now to 70 for 1.
Yes, characteristic West Indian shot on the Greenwich, and so many others after him with the left leg elevating on the pull shot. I think the next 5 overs will be very critical to the outcome of this game. If these two are still there, or maybe just with 1 wicket loss further for the West Indies, I think that they'll be in with a good chance.
So it's Hayley Matthews. Brown. She gives herself a bit of room, but Brown equal to the task. Outside the also up into the keeper's glove. A dot delivery. Smart bowling.
Yes, good adjustment from the ball. I think Hayley moved away a little bit early there, showing her cards quite early to the ball, and she was able to make that adjustment.
Yeah, some sensible bowling here. She struggled to get to that delivery. A dot delivery, precious it is. Brung into a second over. 70 for 1. Buses passes the umpire. This one is short, is hit high and hard. Has it got the legs? It does. Into the fence, 6 more runs. And what a shot that is.
Yes, an excellent shot there from Hayley Matthews. Brown making the cardinal sin of just going a bit too short on this pitch. We have seen everything short in the 2 games being dispatched by both teams.
Yes, that was a short delivery, and she wrapped back and pulled it over mid-wicket. And it had the legs to cross the fence into the Mike Finley stand era. 6 runs to Hayley Matthews, and she's really propelling the West Indies here. 43 from 36, 76 for 1. Brown pitched up, she's hitting it in the similar area. 1 bounce over the fence, 2-3, and she is doing the job here that she ought to do as skipper for the West Indies. 4 more runs to bring the end of the over, and really the crowd is loving this here at Arnesville Playing Field. Hayley Matthews on fire.
Yes, 17 runs off that over, 80 runs 4-1, the score for West Indies women. So as I mentioned before, the next few overs we'll have a lot to say about the outcome, especially if Matthews continues in the vein that she has been going. We have seen also that Stephanie Taylor is looking a bit more aggressive, more comfortable at the crease. She does take some time to settle in. And an interesting move here by the West Indies, really getting Stephanie Taylor up the order and giving their senior batters, their experienced batters, more time at the wicket.
Well, 80 for 1, and that was a big move there by the West Indies. And I always thought that Taylor is batting a little bit too low in the order. She has too much experience to be batting that low, and she's up tonight. She's 18 from 19, giving very good support to the skipper Matthews. He's on strike. I don't want to pitched up. Just another single, as I said, giving support as she takes that single down to mid-on. Turns over the strike to the fiery Hayley Matthews on 47 from 37. 81 for 1.
It's that one from Talia Manara. Seemed to be a slow delivery. That's something that Matthews has to be on the lookout for. She's looking in a no-nonsense mood.
She runs past the umpire. She's on the leg, just turning it neatly. Down to fine leg. Passes the boundary now. Went to the fence for 4. Well played by Hayley Matthews. Just tickling it off your legs. 4 more runs. And that brings up our 50. A well played 50 by the skipper. Well deserved.
Yes, 51 off 38 deliveries. Started very slowly. At one point she was 1 off 12 deliveries and an 8 off 18 deliveries. So she has really turned things around in the last few deliveries that she has faced. Really going all guns blazing at this moment.
She's on strike. She passes 85 for 1. She turns it neat leg and down to fine leg. Has it gotten the legs to go there? Yes, it does. Back-to-back boundaries here for Hayley Matthews. 4 more runs to her. 4 more runs to the West Indies. Arnisville on fire.
Yes, and it is something that we have seen all night. Quite a few deliveries ending up being fielded by the field at short fine leg. So really and truly it was just a matter of time if the line was maintained by Australia with the fine leg in the circle for a few of these deliveries to be at the fine leg.
Well, it's 89 for 1. McGrath. This one is a good delivery on the outside. She squeezes it out to cover. Scamps a single. Not a good throw. Taylor wants a second, but Matthews is saying no. So good run in between these two, and a really good over so far for the West Indies.
It's excellent going. Matthews now in 5th gear, really, and maybe even 6th, because a lot of vehicles these days carry a 6 forward.
Well, what type of vehicle she's driving tonight, I'm not too sure. We'll get to that in a little bit. It's 90 for 1, and that brings Hayley Matthews. Taylor on strike. McGrath. This one is a slow delivery down the leg stump, just sitting on the pads, trickling out to the field at fine leg. No run.
Yeah, she does have that slow delivery, as I mentioned earlier in the over, and she will employ it. So they have to be on the lookout for it. It's considerably slower than her normal delivery as well.
Well, she's executing it very well, as McGrath again into Taylor. This one is a good delivery, wrapping on the pads again. Need to get that ball off the square, Taylor. That brings you over to an end after 12 overs here. The West Indies on 90 for 1, looking for a target of 164. With Taylor and skipper Hayley Matthews at the crease, looking pretty good so far.
Well, at 90 for 1, they are just 10 runs behind where Australia were after 12 overs. They were 100 for 2 after the 12th over. So not much in it at the moment between the two teams. So quite evenly poised. West Indies will be confident because of the two who are at the crease and the fact that they're already set at the wicket. But Australia will know just a wicket or two here and there, and that things can change very quickly.
Well, 2 seasoned players at the wicket here for the West Indies. Former skipper Stephanie Taylor and the skipper out of Barbados, Hayley Matthews, ranked very high in the world when it comes to women's cricket. They have done a lot of work for West Indies, and they need to do it here tonight. This partnership needs to be carried on by these two. The crowd is pumping as see a change in bowling. So it's King. This one is a flighted delivery. Punks down to her off. Oh my, she's out caught. Short delivery. She went back and punched it and found the fielder just on the circle, and she's gone out caught for well played 51. Oh my.
Yeah, this is the massive wicket that we are talking about. That's the dismissal of Matthews. just I think giving herself a little bit too much room, because with the turn going away from her, really in the end not getting much on the shot. The ball was there for the shot, but she just opened up just a little bit too much by removing that front leg away. I think if she had stayed in her normal stance, she would have been able to punch that one over mid-off. But a very important wicket for Alana King, who comes back after being treated harshly by Hayley Matthews in her second over, comes back to take the big fish. And Australia, they will be caught to hoop with that dismissal.
Well, Hayley Matthews going caught for 56 from 41 deliveries. West Indies needs another 75 from 7.5 overs. So that brings Deandra Dotting, another hard-hitting batter out of Barbados, to join Stephanie Taylor in the middle. These two again full of experiences. Deandra Dotting, but needs to get amongst the runs tonight. 90 for 2. Crowd has been silent here at Harnesville after the dismissal of Matthews. What would Dottin bring here to the crease? She's going to face her first delivery.
Yeah, Dottin hasn't had a major innings for the West Indies for some time. She said that tonight is as good a time as any to put her hand up for the team.
Do agree with you. King with a second delivery, flight into Dottin. Squeeze out to mid-off. Finds that fielder again in the same position. But no run. Score remains on 90 for 1. That big wicket of Matthews. Crowd has gone silent somewhat. Dottin need to come to the party tonight. It's King. It's a good delivery. Slide in. Just hit in the inner portion of the bat. Squeezing down to fine leg. She's coming back for 2, sneaking another one. Good run in between these two. And oh, how close that was to the leg stump.
That was a very intelligent delivery there from King. Saw that Dottin just a little bit tentative at the beginning of her innings, trying to see if she could sneak that flatter one through her. Did come off the pitch with some pace. Dottin just getting enough of a bat on it to avoid the danger.
Well, 2 runs to Dottin. King continues. Impressive bowling. Oh, that's a quicker delivery. And she's right on top of it. Squeezes it out to backward point where the keeper comes wrong and field. No run to some precious dot deliveries been bowled here by King. 92 for 2. We're into over number 13. And this is where West Indies pulled the game back by bowling pretty tightly. They need to score now. This one is a flighted delivery. Dottin couldn't do anything with it more than pushing it back to the bowler. So King really causing some trouble here for the West Indies. Dottin probably not as confident as she used to be. Just pushes it back to King. Score remains on 92 for 2. Flighted one. She squeezes it out now to mid-wicket. Picks up a single. Calls Taylor. She responds. And that's the end of over number 13. After 13 overs, it's 93 for 2. Score rate of run rate is 7.15.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad ploy, I think, from Dottin. I wonder why she's just playing those dots to Alana King. There's time enough to catch up a little bit later on in the innings if she gets in and gets set. But King really is the primary wicket taker, you would say, the primary threat for the Aussie team. They do have other bowlers, but she's the one who has troubled them the most. And so it might be that Dottin is saying, let's just keep her out. Let her finish this over. She will only have 6 more deliveries after this in the chase, and we can see how many we can get off the others.
Well, West Indies is heavily dependent on these two, Dottin and Taylor. Former skipper out of Jamaica, Dottin out of Barbados, have done human service for the West Indies. A lot of games between these two players, and really we're expecting much from them tonight to actually square the series here, to have a bumper crowd here on Monday. This is a pretty outstanding crowd for a Saturday night as well, for a women's game. 93 for 2. McGrath, short lifting delivery down the leg, wide signal by the umpire.
That one had some juice on it, Martin. Definitely a lot faster than her slow delivery.
Well, of course, she went into the deck and it lifted over the top. Dottin went under for safety. Wide signal by the umpire. 94 for 2. Here at Harnesville, West Indies looking for a total of 164. It's McGrath. This one is pitched up on the leg stump. Dutton looking to go over the top. Looking for 2 runs. This could be trouble. But good run in between these two. Not the return they were looking for. 2 runs scampered there by Dutton and Taylor. Score moves up now to 96 for 2.
Yeah, the bowler Brown looking a little bit disappointed there with that one, that they were able to get 2. But I think Dutton always had in mind to try to get 2 off that particular delivery. Taylor obliged by accepting or calling the affirmative.
Need to score for all deliveries remaining here. It's Brown into Dutton. This is a slower delivery. She squeezes it out to just about square leg. Slower delivery as she's been doing all night. She picks up a single. Score moves up by 1 to 97 for 2.
Yes, a different slow delivery there from Brown. That one seemed to be the back of the hand slow delivery. So using all the tricks of the trade so that the West Indies have to go at the bowling because the run rate is just over 10 runs and over.
Sprung again, runs away from us. Into Taylor. This one is outside here. Some sweetly played through backward point. The sweeper comes around and picks up and comes into the keeper. Just a single. But that was well played there by Taylor.
Yeah, she does have that class about her batting, Stephanie Taylor. Not as much power as some of the other batters in the top order. But does seem to have that time to play her shots.
So 98 for 2. Need another 67. 6.3 overs remaining. Brown. Again, this one is on the legs. Turn out to square leg. Comes off the boundary. Takes another single. West Indies needs more than that to really get to that total of 167, really. 165 is the magic figure tonight for the West Indies. Similar position as they were 2 days ago. 99 for 2. Brown runs away. Short. This one is pulled through square leg. She calls for 1. She comes off the boundary, picks up. And a good throw. Backed up by the fielder. Short extra cover. And restricting them to 1 run, really. And that brings up the 100 for the West Indies. 100 for 2 in 13.5 overs. Taylor is on 21 and Dutton is on 7 from 8. Yeah, West Indies needs another 65. And we into over numbers. Final delivery is in. This one is just on the leg stump. She's called for a quick single again. Taylor, very aware of the situation. Leg bike single by the umpire. That brings you over to an end. 101 for 2. And your thoughts so far? Just about 5 overs remaining, Alex.
Yes, 101 for 2 West Indies women. Australia, when they were at the crease after 14 overs, they were 113 for 2. So 13 runs ahead of where the West Indies are currently. So they have just lost a little bit of impetus with the dismissal of Hayley Matthews, which you would expect. And so, as Dutton now, she has faced about 7 or so deliveries. It's time now for her now to keep motor on, and I think that a lot now will rest on the shoulders of Stephanie Taylor to see how deep she could bat into the innings while the others have got it.
Yeah, I do agree with you there, Alanson. Taylor needs to bat as long as possible and as deep as possible for the West Indies to get close to this total, and Dutton need to get runs on the board. It's King again. This one is short. Punch it down to mid-off for a single. That brings total now to 103. Need to pierce those gaps, find those areas, tread the field, find it somewhere, find those boundary boards. Taylor and Dutton, 102 for 2 here, as there are some changes in the field. There's a short third, backward point, another cover point being put in square leg. This one is pitched up and driven straight back to King, who does the fielding. A dot delivery, precious delivery that is.
Yes, you saw that the captain just put the square leg back. Stephanie Taylor loves to sweep, so they're mindful of that. Brought up the fielder at mid-off, so she was looking to go over the fielder at mid-off on that delivery.
It's King again. Flighty delivery. This time is on the leg. She chickles it out to mid-wicket. The bowler runs and recovers and restrict them to 1 run. It's now 103 for 2. Dutton is now on strike on 8. Taylor has moved up to 22 from 26 deliveries. She needs to double up on that when it comes to ball and runs to get the West Indies over the line. It's King again, flighted outside the off stump. Another single down to mid-off.
Yes, King, I think just 2 deliveries left in her spell. A lot more expensive than she was in her first spell, but I think that they're still thinking that they don't want to take an undue risk against her. Even with the run rate required up at 11.44.
Yeah, she's bowling pretty well. She's coming in again outside here. Some good delivery. She out caught. And she's out stumped. What a delivery that was. Flighted. And Taylor went for it down the track. Beaten by the flight into the keeper's glove. And she whipped those bails off. And she's gone. Stumped Bowl King. And the big fish of Taylor goes back. Out stumped.
I'm going to tell you that I will give the skipper that wicket. I mentioned to you all in the over that they brought up the fielder from long off to mid off, and they put back the fielder at the square leg boundary, backward square leg boundary. And so Taylor is thinking to herself, now I have to go over mid off if I have to get a boundary. And of course the length didn't allow her to do that from the crease, so she's going down the wicket. King saw that earlier in the over when she fielded off her own bowling. Just pulled the length back a little bit, got a bit of turn on the porches of the wicket, and really I would say that was a well thought out dismissal from the Aussies.
Yeah, a lot of intelligence went into that. Flighted delivery was slow as well, wide outside the off stump. Taylor couldn't get to it, and the wicketkeeper came into play. She collected and pulled the bails off, and she was left stranded halfway down the track. West Indies have lost their 3rd wicket, that of Taylor. Again, another good delivery, just sponging it out to covers, and that brings King spell to an end. She has bowled 4 overs, 25 runs, and she has picked up 2 very important wickets, that of Taylor and the skipper Hayley Matthews. Excellent bowling here by King again.
Yes, these last few overs since over number 12 have really brought Australia back into contention, and I think they are now holding the cards for the rest of this game. At over number 12, West Indies was 90 for 1. Hayley Matthews was dismissed at the beginning of the 13th over, and since then, coming at the end of over number 15, West Indies are now 104 for 3. So they haven't really gotten away from the Aussies at any point. And while batting at over number 15, the Aussies were 125 for 2. So for the first time in a while, they are now more than 20 runs apart.
Well, the Australians have done exceptionally well to pull themselves back into this game. Taylor and Matthews really looked good. As first delivery, she's trying to paddle it down to fine leg, find the fielder in the way. Another dot delivery, dot in. 9 from 12.
I think she has to go at the bowling now. Just the run rate is too high. You really have to try to look to hit the boundaries.
Another dot delivery being bowled straight. She couldn't do anything with that one. Had some pace on it as well. And cramper for room. Dot in, 104 for 3. Where I'm bowling pretty well. Leg spin. Passes the umpire. Flighty delivery this time. She gets it fine. And calls for a single. So that brings Campbell on strike. Score moves up now to 105 for 3.
Yeah, at this stage, when you think about the West Indies batting lineup, they do have some batting to come. And it makes no sense for you to bat out the 20 overs and end up at 130 or 120 again. So you really need to try to give a better fist.
What a delivery that was. She tried to get to it, but that back foot was stick into that crease, Campbell. But that's a beautiful delivery ball there by William. Really good delivery. These 2 leg spinners have done exceptionally well for Australia in the middle here. Picking up wickets, bowling tight. Really restricting the West Indies. 105 for 3. One is flighted and she's swinging outside the off stump, misses and goes into the keeper's glove. Another dot delivery.
Yeah, that last delivery, Campbell looking for the slug sweep, but really didn't seem as if she kept her eyes on that ball at all.
I think the pressure's still in on Campbell here. She knows what she has to do. 60 runs to get. Flighted again. She's Hitting that one into the pitch, into the bowler's grasp. That brings you over to an end. 105 for 3. And the required run rate is 15. And they are presently scoring at 6.56. We're to over number 70.
Well, when you look at the analysis, Ken Roy, talking about 4 overs ago, in the last 4 overs, the West Indies, it's really 15 for 2. So that's going at less than 4 runs and over when you need more than 10. And so this era, remember I mentioned at the beginning of the 10 overs that the next few overs will really determine
critically important,
because it will be too much to do at the back end if you don't score enough up to
in the
15th
middle
or 16th.
I do agree with you there, Alanson, and things have played out in the way that you have said. And Australia really on top of things here now. West Indies really need someone to pull something out of the hat here for them. Who can do it? DeAndre Dutton, Campbell. Change of bowling. Fast bowler comes back. Garth. She bowls 2 overs, 1 for 3. She comes in first delivery. It's outside the awesome, driven straight to mid-off. 1 bounce, she calls for single. She takes it. They would really need more than that here in this over.
Well, they actually need 15.39 per over. So they need some big overs. They really have to go at everything at this stage.
So Campbell comes on strike. Scott runs away. Runs out, pitched up, hit back, straight past the bowler. Into the fence for 4. That is what the West Indies need from Campbell. And a lovely shot back past the bowler for 4.
It's a little wicket keeper. Just punching that one straight back the ball, Campbell. Finding the gap nicely. The offside, aside from the sweeper cover, everyone is up on the offside. And everyone is back on the leg side, which is a shorter boundary, and with the wind.
This one is outside the awesome. She went across the line, looking to swat it somewhere in the mid-wicket area, missing it completely. A slow delivery by Garth into the keeper's glove. And another dot delivery, 110 for 3.
Yeah, I think that is the onside is very inviting to them because of what I mentioned before with the wind. But they should not rule out the offside because the ball does travel nicely over the outfield. And aside from the sweeper cover, there's no one back on the boundary on the offside.
Well, they have a lush green outfield here. The ball does run off the outfield. You get purchase for your shots here. Campbell is on strike. Garth is running into her. This one is outside the awesome and played nicely down to backward point for a single. The Australians will be happy with that. West Indians need to get more than that to get them up to this total 111 for 3. Dotting on 11 from 15 and Campbell is 5 from 7. West Indies needs another 54 from 3.2 overs. A big axe here by these two. Australia definitely on top of this game. Played some very good cricket. Batted nicely. Came back in the middle, bowled tight. Took wickets as well and always kept West Indies under pressure. It's Garth. Well, a slow delivery. Dotton looking to swat it over mid-on. Finds the fielder in the way. But gets a single in the process. 1 run.
Yeah, what you are seeing here now, and it's something I think that a lot of persons probably will be disappointed with the Windies women in the first game, is that you might end up with a position where you lose the game with a lot of wickets in hand.
Indeed.
So that intent in the last few overs is missing. You don't have confidence in the batters to come, and I could tell you that quite a few of them are quite good who are to come.
I think they have a very strong batting lineup. They need to people like Harvey Fletcher in the back. That's another single, but they need to get the ball through the gap, hit the fence,
well,
hit the boundary ropes.
Is listed to bat at 10, so that's a good batting lineup.
Exactly. People like Harvey Fletcher who scored 100 at that higher level have done a lot for West Indies cricket. It's 113 for 3. Really think that they need to just show caution in the wind and have a go here in the next 18 deliveries. They need to get 52. Somebody needs to come and pull something out of the hat here for the West Indies. DeAndre Dutton, Campbell, somebody needs to do it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Kenroy, in my opinion, caution should have been thrown into the wind a long time ago. 90 for 1 after 12 overs. And with the skipper going, yes, he might take a few deliveries just to recover and recuperate. But then thereafter, go again.
She's hitting this one in the air. She's getting under it. She's out caught. She went for the sweep. Hit the upper portion of the bat. The field on the square leg boundary came in. Made good ground. Took and catch. And nothing goes back. Out caught. And West Indies into further trouble.
The camera there looking for that sweep shot again. One of our favorite shots. We're not getting much power on it. Just top edge. And well caught there from the fleet of foot. Nicola Curry, she has really feeding electrically in the field, especially on that square leg boundary throughout this game. So Campbell perishing for the cause, you would say, because at this stage really has no choice. I think she's now been replaced by, seems like Claxton is the new batter.
Well, as I said before, caution needs to be thrown in. The wind caution is still somewhere. It is still somewhere, but Australia are doing exceptionally well for themselves. 113 for 4.
Yeah, these are the discussions as the West Indies women team, they play more cricket and they get accustomed to the level that they have. These are the things that they would want to discuss as they go forward.
Yeah, I do think that our ladies play too little cricket, especially to enter into tournaments. It needs a lot more tournaments like these with very good competitors like Australia. She's flighted delivery. This one is hit in the air over cover. She's gone for 1. Clarkson is coming back for 2. She's a good strike off the cricket ball. Clarkson, you have seen that in the West Indies tournament. So 2 more runs to the West Indies.
Campbell was dismissed for 6 runs off 9 deliveries.
Really need to look at those deliveries 2 in ratio with the runs. Flighted delivery, this one should be dealt with. Oh, she missed out on that full toss really and only got it to the fielder at mid-wicket, picks up a single. That was a lollipop really.
Yeah, she hangs her head there, Claxton. She would have seen Christmas, birthday, New Year's and anniversary gifts all wrapped up in one. Didn't know which one to unwrap.
Probably get too excited, man. She was probably too excited to see that. She missed out. As Warren. Flighted delivery. This one is hit high and hard. Has she gotten enough of it? Yes, she does. Over the top. 6 runs over mid-off. So nothing has come to the party. Has she come to the party too late, Alanson? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a difficult task from here for sure. I do think that they could have gone a little bit earlier. That's my opinion of it. I think now you're almost looking to do what is highly improbable.
Herculean task. Again she goes. A quicker delivery into the stump area. She squeezes it out to mid-off. She picks up a single. They need more than that. Current run rate 6.90. Required run rate 19.38. Oh my word. They need a Brathwaite here. Brathwaite over.
we must
remember the name.
Actually give a lot of credit to Wayham and the way she has bowled.
Very well, very well. Warren again. Clarkson is hitting that all along the ground down to mid-on. Long on, she picks up another single. So Australia doing the job that they need to do here. 124 for 4. And we're into the final 12 deliveries of this, the second T20 between these two teams. Australia looking to clinch the series tonight, and West Indies still have the hopes of bringing things tighter, making it 1-1.
Well, they need about 20 runs per over. It's not impossible, highly improbable, but not impossible. Take a few good connections.
I've seen that on several occasions. It can happen. Keeping my fingers crossed. Do keep my fingers crossed. DeAndre Norton is at the crease. Anything could happen here.
I think she does.
Clarkson is at the crease.
She wants to strike.
So it's Gath. She's bowling around the wicket. Runs up past his young pass. She's bowling to Clarkson. Clarkson is sitting down to mid-on. Looking to get over the boundary, only finding the fielder in the way again for another single. Australia wouldn't mind that at all. Another single needs boundaries. Boundaries are needed here for the West Indies.
That's a bad length being bowled here from Garth. Has bowled well throughout the game.
Into a final over. She has 3 for 12. Excellent bowling that is. 3 for 12. She's bowling to Dutton. Run passes the umpire now. Pitched up. Dutton is hitting it high and hard. Falling short of that field at cover. Deep extra cover sweeper. So another single. And as you mentioned before, Alanson, it would be really sad to see West Indies going on tonight with so many wickets in hand. 126 for 4. Really not putting the pressure on Australia as they ought to. But Garth continues to bowl around the wicket. This one is bowling just inside, just hitting the inner portion of the bat and bouncing over the stumps. I really thought that it had struck the stumps. Bicycle by the umpire. She missed it completely. I think I missed it too as well. 127 for 4.
Striking the keeper on the length.
Crowd has gone dead silent here. Garth. Dutton is hitting this one. It's in the air. The keeper is calling for the catch. Oh, she misses it completely through the hands of the keeper. So 2 runs taken there. Catch goer begging. 129 for 4.
It's always a keeper's catch once it's supposed to the wicket. But of course, she's also running away from the ball. So maybe the fielder could have thought about it. But when you see the gloves coming, you always say, well, it's the keeper's catch. So she'll be disappointed with that bet, Mooney.
So it's Garth again running away. She's in. Slow delivery outside the awesome. This one is hit high and hard. Over mid-off. Bisects 2 fielders. Into the fence for 4. She finally got some bat on that one. Is it too late for the West Indies? 4 runs to Dutton.
I'm going to say that that's a far better shot than we saw from her earlier in the over. I think she finally made up her mind that she would go over the offside because it seemed as if she was just pulling her weight towards the leg stump a bit too much with her swing earlier in the over. The one that went on the offside wasn't intended to go there. It was off the over, the outer portion of the bat. But this one, she was looking to go over mid-off and did so quite well.
Well, 32 needed from 7 deliveries. This one again, she's driving out to mid-off. Finds the fielder in the way. She gets another single. That brings the penalty matey over to an end. And after that over, 19 overs been bowled. 134 for 4 at Annesville playing field. West Indies versus Australia. We're into game number 2 and we are in to the final over of this, the second game, as Australia look to clinch the series here at Annesville. But West Indies still have hope. Another 30 runs to get.
Well, it will be the experienced Talia McGrath who will finish it off. I think Dutton probably will be thinking to herself that she wants to take the entire over. But 31 is a lot to get in one over. You mentioned, remember the name, but he only needed 19. 31 is a lot. Right.
Well, who knows?
Fat
lady hasn't sung us yet. She's still waiting to sing, really, at Annesville. Final over. McGrath. She has 2 for 14. Has bowled exceptionally well so far for her team. Looking to finish things off here this evening. But Dutton is on strike. She's in. This one is into the pitch and she hits it straight back to the field at short mid-off. A dot delivery. Oh my.
Well, she now needs 5 sixes to tie.
Oh my. What a time.
You might be on the verge of calling history, Ken, right?
I hope I'm ready. So, this is McGrath. She runs away from us here. Delivery number 2. Again down the leg side. White signal by the umpire. So, extra delivery to be bowled. 135 for 4 here. West Indies looking for a total of 165. Really far off. 30 more runs needed. Helped by McGrath so far. She's in. This one is pitched up, going to the legs of Dutton into the keeper's glove. And has Hope slipped through the door? Seems so. A couple of persons have
We don't know if
picked
it's
up and
Hope. It's
walking out. So
Shy Hope or Kyle Hope.
one of the Hopes. It's McGrath. In. This one is hit high and hard. Over mid-on. Into the fence for 4. Dutton strikes. 4 runs to Hall, 4 runs to the West Indies.
Again, I'm enjoying this little bit of excitement and also and going back again after a few overs of it. If the intent was different, they would find themselves in this situation because they already did the work in the first 10 overs, the first 10, 12 overs.
Yeah, as you said, they should have shown caution in the wind. Really played some aggressive cricket. Again, this one is hit high and hard. My God, she's got that one. Double decker, here I come. 6 runs to Dutton. Crowd is loving it.
I'm telling you, I'm saying no, do not bowl on the ball. That's what she was saying to herself. Do not bowl on the ball and get hit for a boundary of that no ball.
Well. Who knows? 4, 6. 20 needed. This one is short. It's pulled through mid-on. Will they get the legs to go there? No. 2 more runs.
Well, they did 18 from 1 ball. Without a few more balls, it will be impossible. So she just needs to keep her front foot behind the line. Talia McGrath. To see Australia go 2-0 up.
Final delivery. Dutton is swinging and miss. That's the end of the game. Australia have won. 147 for 4. West Indies couldn't get to 165. Brilliant bowling by McGrath and the others from Australia. She finished with 3 for 27. Dutton remains 39 from 28. Claxton 5 from 5. And Australia has won by 17 runs. A smaller margin than the first game, but well played to Australia.
Yeah, you go back, as I mentioned, you go back to the fall of Haley Matthews' wicket 2 for 90 at 12.1 overs, and then for some strange reason, thereafter, the next 3 or 4 overs, very little intent shown by the West Indies women batters, and now you get within 17 runs of the score for Australia. So they really have to ask themselves these questions: why not try to take some more initiative at that stage? Because you don't want to leave too much at the back end. If you leave too much at the back end in the chase, you're really putting yourself up between a rock and a hard place. And in the end, that rock and a hard place was as hard as the rocks that come out of La Soufrière when there's an eruption, and it was just impossible in the end.
Well, Australia have clinched the series tonight. Well played to them. But as you said earlier, West Indies really put themselves in a difficult situation. They could have gotten a better result tonight if they had played positive cricket and really took caution in the win and really tried to bring this game home. Losing by 17 runs, they would go back to the drawing board and look at things and say, we could have done this better. But at the end of the day, execution is important. Australia came out, they executed, took the catches, bowled well in pressure situation, and really pulled back the West Indies after Haley Matthews and Taylor batted so well in the middle and really bring the game back for the West Indies. Unfortunately, they fell, and then that was it for the West Indies. Janja Dutton at the end, 39 from 28. A little too late, but well played to Australia. Hard luck to the West Indies.
Yes, looking at the bowling from the Australians, Alana King 4 overs, 2 for 25. She took the most wickets, but Georgia Wareham 3 overs, 1 for 16. She also bowled a key spell, very miserly. And Kim Garth 4 overs, 1 maiden. She bowled the only maiden in the innings. 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 20. So you see 3 bowlers going just around 6 runs and over or less, and that really stymied the progress of the West Indies team, especially in those middle overs. That spell in the middle there from King and from Wareham. That really just arrested any momentum that the West Indies wanted to build to go into the last 5 overs to challenge the score of the Aussies.
Well, as we bring things to a close there, we want to say thank you for being here. It was a pleasure bringing broadcast to you from the nation station, NBC Radio. I want to say thanks to the National Lottery, our sponsors. Thanks to our co-commentators, Stanley Gunny Hines, Cecil Charles, and my co-commentator here right on the side here. He did an exceptional job as well. And to Mountain Top for producing special water for us tonight to keep us going. So it was a pleasure being here. Remember, Monday, you have your final game between the West Indies and Australia. Australia leads the series 2-1. And please don't forget to come support the Windies ladies. Hopefully we will get a win. This time is 6:30. Be here sharp. And we'll be under the lights here at Arnesville Playing Field. It was a pleasure bringing the broadcast to you. Alan Sukukshang besides me, Stanley Gunny Hines, and Cecil Charles. Thank you, and we'll see you on Monday to bring you the final game.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG, our one bank together we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, saying it loud. BOSVG, BOSVG, hey, building our future. BOSVG, doing more together.
OSBG, doing more together.